got some bedhead right now. Oh dear lord. Wonderful. Move that. Okay. Cool. Eek. Alright, so Twitch activity, restream, browser. Ah. Just one of those two things. And then Twitch activity, chat restream. There we go. I still need my glasses. What's this? That's fine. Gonna be golden. No, I'm done hiding. Now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Alright. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dream and hard, we can't survive now, I believe. We're going up. Ooh. TikTok. We're going up the butts now, morning. Even together we're going. Gonna be golden. Oh, up with our voices. Gonna be golden. Oh, I'm hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dream and hard, we get so far. Warrior. We going up, it's all alone. You know together we're golden. Gonna be golden. Up with all the voices. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Alright. I believe. There we go. Alright. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I want to be. Oh shit, what's this? Great. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Da da da. Where's my phone? I literally just had it. What the hell? I just had my phone. What the hell? Huh. Oh, let me see. Gonna be golden. I'm done hiding. Now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Dreams and night I came to fly. Now I believe I'm gonna fall to the moment. Gonna be golden. I'm done hiding. Now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Alright, let's see. Yeah! Perfect. Alright. Yes, no, maybe so. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Go grab my phone. Voices. Gonna be golden. What did I do with it? Well, that's my iPad. Oh, got it. Got it. All right. I'll be streaming. Bye. Bye. Okie dokie. I'm back. All right. Hey, what's up?
Okay. Cool. Oh my gosh, my hair is a mess. There's only so much I can do with it. Alright, let me see what this sounds like. Okay. Cool. Oh my gosh, my hair is a mess. There's only so much I can do with it. Alright, let me see what this sounds like. Okay. Testing. Seems good. If you guys have any issues with the audio, just let me know. Okay, perfect. Let me get this stuff going. Gotta organize all these windows. I need to get a third monitor, but like I literally have like no space on my desk. I would need to wall mount it at this point. There we go. All right. YouTube. God. Ugh. Lord have mercy. So let's see. I know about this video. I want to see the lawyer reacts. The whole story. Gosh. Okay, which... If your windows aren't organized properly, you might fall victim to voyeurism. You know what? True. So where's that video where he's like, attorney talks to me? I don't have... Must see, I was wrong about Sergeant Fate. He's criminal charges for spitting my face. That one's different. Was that the attorney? Voyeur lawyer? God. Also, I was on, that's it. I was wrong. Okay. Quick thing before I start this. I checked his, Instagram last night and I found, that's the lawyer video. Okay. I found out that one of, like, my all-time favorite artists on Instagram follows him. And I'm like, ugh, that's such loser behavior. But let's get into this.
I was completely wrong about the criminal charges against Connecticut State Trooper Sergeant Brian Fahey.
Right now! You spit in my face!
My property
You're
right
going
now.
to jail now!
Get
Look
off
at
my
this!
property
Look
right
at this! He spit in my
Get off my
face!
I think it's stretching to suggest that spitting is assault under Connecticut law. What the spitting does do is it enhances the threatening nature of Fahey's conduct.
Don't
This is
spit
the
in my
biggest
face.
mistake you ever made.
Especially because it occurs.
After watching his video, I realized how wrong I was about the criminal charges against Fahey. If you care about this incident at all, this is a must watch. Please hit the like button and share this video because the world needs to see this invaluable information. Let's get into it.
So first thing, I think it's pretty obvious and pretty well widely accepted that there's an implied license where there's no communication from the homeowner that there is no trespassing sign on the property. That journalists do it all the time. I mean, hell, if you watch Jody Barr, that cat will sit in your kitchen and eat your cereal out of the box. Like he's all up in your business. He don't care where you are. So these investigative journalists really don't they don't really intimidate. And that's one of the things that I love about Sean, because a lot of people will call him an instigator. But the truth is, everything that he does is conducting himself like a journalist. The only difference is that the things that he does, like the billboard truck and things like that, are things you could never do if you had a boss. So that's where the independent part comes in, right? Because even Jody Barr or Dave Biscobing is probably not going to get cleared by corporate to go put a billboard truck in somebody's neighborhood, right?
Okay, pause. So, how is he not an instigator according to this lawyer? But they have had issues in the past. Oh, okay, that's something else. But, yeah, how is he not an instigator when they have made physical contact in public? Obviously, this dude does not like him. And then he shows up to his property unannounced.
Right? So that's the freedom that comes along with being an independent journalist. And I don't think there's any argument to be made that he broke the law by knocking on the door. There is an accepted implied license allowing members of the public to approach a residence for lawful purposes, like knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. Sean very clearly exercised that right. I think his cameraman was off 10 to 15, 20 feet in the yard. It's hard to tell because of the camera. And Sean did something really important that will come in later, which is that he rang the doorbell and stepped off the porch, meaning he wasn't looking for a confrontation. If he was looking for a confrontation, he would have stayed up on the porch and been face to face with the man in his doorway, and that would have been an enormous mistake. But
well, the point is that it's his job. He's a journalist and First Amendment auditor. I understand that, but when you have two private road signs in between the public access, like, you know, he can go to these people's doors, if this lawyer's saying that, you know, it's his right as an investigative journalist, but the private road signs, I'm curious about that. Literally step to the line and report. He could have done that by the cul-de-sac. I mean, Fahey would have to leave at some point.
But he didn't do that. He intentionally stepped off the front porch to avoid a confrontation, which I think kills a lot of the arguments in favor of any criminal charge relating to him even being on the porch in the first place.
Oh, I'm currently being recorded, his Ring camera said. Hey, Sergeant Fahey, how are you?
Now, under Connecticut law, Fahey would have the ability to use reasonable force to eject a trespasser. Now, remember that the status changes, basically. You're not a trespasser due to the implied license when you approach the door, but the second that he tells you, get off my property, that transforms Sean Paul into a trespasser if he is not leaving. But you can't see the cameraman move, but you hear about 5 seconds later Sean give the cameraman the command to let's go, come with me, whatever he says. Sean says in his commentary that he is already moving back, and we can't see that. We have no reason not to believe that. Had Fahey already had a gun in his hand when he answered the door, I think the analysis in this case would be a little bit different, but obviously, by the time Fahey goes back inside and grabs a gun and comes back on the phone with 911, his right to use an elevated level of force, like a threat of deadly force, is pretty much extinguished because Sean is no longer on the curtilage of his home.
I noticed this when I first watched the video, but I must have overlooked it when I was doing my commentary. But it's obvious here that where Sean is by the time Fahey actually makes it out with the gun, he's not even actually on his sole property anymore. It looks like he's, God, maybe several hundred feet away from the house, and it looks like he's just on this common driveway that is jointly owned. We don't even know whether Fahey has the actual legal authority to eject him from this property itself. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But the point is, his level of force that he's reasonably allowed to use is almost nothing at this point. It certainly doesn't involve a gun and spitting and all the things you're getting ready to see.
Property. Well, do you see me not moving?
To the cul-de-sac.
But again, oh my gosh, clearly well-kept manicured lawn. Exactly. I thought he would mention the private road signs by now. I really thought. I don't know. We're just gonna wait and see.
Calm down.
Get off my
property. Get that gun out of your hand. Get off my property. Get that gun out of your hand.
I'm a goddamn Connecticut State Trooper.
I don't care who you are.
Trespassing
I don't care
on
who you are.
my
I don't care who you
Get
are.
off my
I don't care
property.
who you are.
Right now.
You spit in my
Get off
face.
my property
You're
right
going
now.
to jail now.
Get
Look
off
at
my
this.
property.
Look.
He mentioned the curtilage, but the private road sign exactly. I want him to talk about that.
Look at this.
Now, this
But no, he's absolutely right about Fahey freaking bringing his gun out. Like, dude, he was leaving. But under the fact that he's a journalist there to follow up on the story, that, honestly, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't know the law. I'm going to say that again, because there's people in my comments yesterday saying, like, oh, you don't know the law. Yeah, I don't. I said it. But the point is, like, what he was saying, we don't know if this is legally his property. It's the joint area between him and his neighbor. you don't know if he is paying to maintain that grass that's on the side right in the background. This could all be Fahey. Who freaking knows? But he shouldn't have passed that first private road sign. That's none of his business.
This is where I would disagree.
Also, they're low-key matching shirts. Resist Tyranny and then the white and red.
With I watched a live stream that Sean had where he had a police officer from Texas, I think, on his live stream, and he had an attorney that I think had previously represented him in some Connecticut litigation. I think it's stretching to suggest that spitting is assault under Connecticut law. And the reason I say that is because I actually think that in this particular case, the police officers got that right. If you look at Connecticut law, it does in fact require, for the purposes of assault, physical injury. And you don't need it, and I'll explain why. There's other laws that could be implicated here that cover this conduct. You don't need to make this long argument about how getting spit in your face is an assault. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think that the way that Sean conducted himself and the composure that he showed in the face of getting spit in his mouth was incredible, the restraint that he showed, but I don't believe that it qualifies under Connecticut law as assault. It clearly says physical injury. If Sean had contracted AIDS or hepatitis as a result of having mouth spit and he had followed up with a doctor, sure, that could be immediately assume physical injury simply because somebody spits on you. And I don't mean to say simply because to minimize the gravity of being spat upon, but the point is it just does not have statutory footing, and you don't.
That blows my mind, how spitting is an assault, or at least battery. Oh my gosh. Like, I totally understand getting charged later with it if you contracted something, and I even said that in my video. Just like, oh my god. Getting tested and checking like his medical history from before the spitting to after the spitting, if he's now being treated with like for hepatitis, AIDS, whatever could be in that spit, blows my mind how that's not assault. Jeez.
Don't need it. That's why the spitting, in my opinion, is not an actual assault under Connecticut law. What the spitting does do is it enhances the threatening nature of Fahey's conduct, especially because it occurred while he was armed and during a continually aggressive confrontation that was not reasonable under the circumstances. And that's why it opens the door to a law that does actually fit, and that is threatening in the second and first degree under Connecticut law. Threatening in the second degree involves intentionally placing another person in fear of imminent serious physical injury through physical threat or menacing behavior. Okay, so that's where we start. There's no argument really to be made that disorderly conduct and breach of the peace are present at the time of the spitting or in the yard or anything like that. What you have to remember that disorderly conduct and breach of the peace are traditionally public offenses. So I don't think you can make the argument that when you're standing on somebody's porch or in their yard and they're trying to eject you as a trespasser, or even on a private road that is labeled as private road, that you can invoke sort of the danger to the public or the public element. A public element is an essential element of a breach of the peace. It's specifically enumerated statutorily for breach of the peace, but it's also in case law been adjudicated as being necessary for disorderly conduct. In fact,
Okay, good pause. Thank him for mentioning the private road signs. You cannot practice your First Amendment breach the threshold, whatever. You can't practice your journalistic rights on private property. He said it right then and there. So I'm really surprised how Long Island Audit would go past a private road sign to practice a public right. Do you understand what I'm saying? This whole thing wouldn't have happened had he stayed past that first sign or behind that first sign. But I'm going to continue listening.
Tennessee, our statute says in a public place. So it doesn't say that in Connecticut statute, but the courts have held that there's a public element. There has to be an exposure or at least a risk to somebody else in general public in order for disorderly conduct to be in play. So the argument that Fahey's conduct qualifies as a breach of the peace or disorderly conduct, for the most part, is null and void, in my opinion. I don't think it fits the factual circumstances. But again, you don't need assault, you don't need disorderly conduct, and you don't need breach of the peace in order for this to work in Sean Paul's favor. So let's walk through what you do actually have here that's pretty clear cut,
Okay.
so that we can forget the argument that we need to stretch the facts and circumstances to make particular things work. Those offenses are misdemeanors. Threatening in the first degree is a felony, and that's actually what happened here. If you look at the threatening statute in Connecticut, the one to look at is threatening second degree. So let me kind of break that down for a second here. Threatening in the second degree involves intentionally placing another person in fear of imminent serious physical injury through physical threat or menacing behavior. Had Fahey walked out on his porch or even down and stood in his yard with a gun at his side, I think that's fine. But pursuing Sean Paul as he's retreating from the home, making it obvious that he is, to the extent he ever was a threat, is no longer a threat, to come up to him with an unholstered weapon, down at your side, on the phone with 911, screaming and acting like a complete animal the way Fahey does. He absolutely placed Sean, or any reasonable person, when another person has a gun, not in a holster, by the way, and that matters, we'll talk about that more in a minute, not in a holster, down by their side. All it takes is now an invitation for a physical confrontation in order for that to become a deadly force scenario. And when you combine that with the sort of close proximity pursuit that Fahey conducted of Sean Paul as he was trying to retreat, and then the intentional body checking, and then the spitting in the face, that's absolutely placing any reasonable person in fear that, hey, this is going to turn into an actual physical fight, and now there's a gun involved. There's really no argument that this is not threatening at a minimum in a second degree. But threatening in the first degree starts with the baseline of threatening in the second degree, which we've already satisfied the elements of based on Fahey's conduct. And if a firearm or another deadly weapon is used, displayed, or implied as a threat during an encounter, then you elevate that from second degree to first degree threatening, and that is a D felony under Connecticut law. So, Fahey's conduct meets both thresholds. He was visibly armed. He intentionally closed the distance to within inches of Reyes. He spat in his face, he body checked him, and he continually escalated a verbal confrontation while holding an unholstered weapon and announcing himself as a Connecticut state trooper without the privilege of the self-defense that he would have been afforded back on his porch, right?
And literally, I said that from the jump, and someone in my comments was like, you got everything wrong. Your whole analysis is just crazy, but I'm just like, if someone called Fahey during an emergency and said, help, there's someone on my property, and let's say for the sake of argument, they have caused them physical harm in the past and they are actively leaving. If someone called Fahey and was like, help, there's someone on my property, what do I do? Like, I have my gun. He would tell them, most likely, to stay in their house. And Fahey body checking him down the entire property, that was a whole ego trip, at minimum. But, I mean, I think the whole argument, that's why I suggest watching this, it helps your argument and comes from a law professional, absolutely. But, yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna go to court over this, not just by the criminal charges, but I feel like Fahey is gonna sue him because he came on his property. But I know his whole argument is gonna be, oh, this is a protected right, as my First Amendment rights, I'm a journalist, I gotta investigate. All Fahey has to do is show that he signed an HOA, or he maintains that whole driveway, like, by himself, and throw his whole argument out of the window, like, straight up. But, like, I feel like at minimum, there would be some type of, like, misdemeanor for Fahey because he did brandish a gun and he followed him down the entire driveway. Even if all of that is Fahey's property, he was still safe in his house. Oh yeah, this is going to be big stuff. But yeah, Fahey was still safe in his house, armed, and Long Island Audit was leaving. So that's thrown out the window for the whole self-defense thing. But yeah, just freaking being on dude's property, all he has to do is just show him, like, prior tax stuff or anything like that, just showing that he freaking maintains that yard and that driveway. That's it.
All of that matters because it takes him out of the privilege of a law enforcement officer. Now, if this was in Groton or Crouton or Groton or however the hell you say it, it would be different if Fahey was not a Connecticut State Trooper. But a Connecticut State Trooper has statewide jurisdiction. So him announcing himself absolutely elevated himself to acting under the color of law. We'll talk about that more in a couple minutes. But this is a situation where he actually committed a much more serious offense than the ones the attorney was arguing for in the initial sort of backdrop of what happened here. Now, I don't blame him for that because we're all emotionally charged, right? These are people that he cares about. He's just sort of grasping at straws. But the problem is, if you make the argument that Fahey is guilty of breach of the peace and disorderly conduct,
So's the other dude.
Shifts some scrutiny to Sean Paul because he's doing, you know, while not nearly as egregious, he's sort of mutually involved in some of this stuff. And so I think it's bad for your client if you're making an argument that, you know, it's okay for Fahey's lawn to be public for the purposes of breach of the peace and disorderly conduct when those charges really don't carry much of a penalty at all. And it sort of places scrutiny unnecessarily on Sean Paul, when the truth is there are other arguments to be made. So let's continue and we'll finish up our other arguments to be made as it relates to these things.
Passing on my property.
That doesn't matter. You
threatened to kill me.
I didn't.
You threatened to kill me online.
Right. No,
Get
I did
off
not.
my
You're a
property
liar.
right now.
You are a liar.
Right now.
Look, see the big
Get off
beautiful
my
billboard
property.
truck? It's all being recorded.
I don't care.
It's all being. I
Get
know you
off
don't
my
care
property
because you don't face any
right now.
consequences.
Get off
You don't
my
face any
property
consequences
right now.
There's the argument made that Fahey committed defamation by saying that Sean Paul had threatened him online. Defamation requires publication to a third party who is not the subject of the statement, and it can't be privileged, okay? Statements to 911 operators are generally privileged, and statements to the police in the process of reporting what you believe to be a crime are generally privileged and not subject to action under defamation law. The only person that he's published this to is Sean, and at most the 911 dispatcher. This is really not actionable or even considerable under a defamation law or for the purposes of a defamation tort.
This is the biggest mistake you ever made.
No, it's not.
This
It's
is the biggest mistake you ever made.
No,
Get
it's
off
not.
my property right now.
It's not the biggest mistake
Get
I
off
ever
my
made.
property right
It's
now.
not the biggest mistake. The
Get
biggest
off
mistake. You
my
spit in my face.
I didn't spit in your face.
You
I
disgusting.
was spitting on you.
The public
Everything's a
element
setup,
of disorderly conduct, in my opinion, is not present back in the yard. But watch this. Watch after the spitting happens. So, in my opinion, you lose the privilege of self-defense with chasing him down, bringing a gun out, all that stuff. So we have, in my opinion, threatening second and threatening first because of the introduction to the firearm, right? All at the same time, and the spitting and all the things, right? Under the totality of the circumstances. But watch what happens here at the end. For about 50 seconds, Fahey is continuously crossing back and forth over a public sidewalk at the end of this private driveway. And Sean Paul is standing in public. Now, Connecticut does have a duty to retreat, but you have one armed guy and you have one guy acting like a complete lunatic with an unholstered gun. There is a scenario where a person sort of rolling up on the scene, not being a police officer, not knowing what's going on, could have felt like Reyes was in potential danger of death or serious bodily injury and could have shot Fahey. And I think a jury might have acquitted them in that situation because the duty to retreat only works if you have the time to.
Stumbling, clearly under the influence. Honestly, I feel like when, this is just me, when adrenaline's really high, I kind of lose a little bit of coordination with my legs and arms too. So I don't know if that's with Fahey as well. But yeah, I mean, they should have freaking drug tested him and everything.
To do that. If you rolled up on this scene in that 50-second window where Fahey is very clearly in public and acting in such a menacing way while holding an unholstered weapon, I think it might have been reasonable for a third party to be like, uh-oh, we need to put some rounds in this guy before he kills this person. So that may not be, you know, in my hypothetical, ultimately a legal justification for use of deadly force, but it certainly makes Fahey's conduct a breach of the peace and disorderly because it's fighting words after he spit in his face and now he's actually in public. So again, you don't have to conflate the privacy of this guy's property in order to get to breach of peace and disorderly conduct. It just wasn't breach of peace and disorderly conduct back when they were on
Spitting.
private property. But there's a full minute here where this guy's pacing back and forth and acting like a complete idiot while holding a gun and on the phone with 911, where all of those things could have elementally been met.
I'm gotta go. What a crazy psychopath. He spit in my face. No, I'm an independent journalist. Get it right, buddy. Get it right. I never threatened. He says I threatened to kill him? Ooh, I knocked on your front door. I'll get that 911 call too, buddy. Look at this guy. He probably, I'm a Connecticut State Trooper. Come help me from the camera. Come help me from the guy asking me questions, please, before I shoot him. And I did. And I did. No, you spit in my face and you're going to jail. And you're going to jail.
So technically the only one who breached the peace was Fahey, because in public Sean didn't scream and act aggressive. He's doing that right now. He's screaming. But yeah, the cops did get there fast. But yeah, what that lawyer was saying was just like, if we're trying to say breach of the peace with Fahey, then it's also opening it up for Long Island audit as well. So it seems like he doesn't want to make that argument, so he doesn't convict. Yeah, or he doesn't want to make that argument, because if he was representing Long Island audit, then it would open him up to some arguments as well. So they're kind of just like avoiding that. Like, he did address it, but they're trying to like avoid saying like, hey, let's charge Fahey with breach of the peace, because like the freaking defense is going to be like, oh, hold up, and then get him too, or prosecutor. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. The sidewalk is absolutely public. And that other sign, I really wanted him to talk about that other sign.
You're going to jail. You spit in my face and you're going to... It's all right here, buddy. Right here. It's all right here. It's all right here, buddy. Look at these guys. Look. Look. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not doing anything. He just spit in my face.
Get over here.
Well, I didn't break any laws.
I'm going to detain you in a second, okay?
For what? I haven't broken the law. No, but do you have reasonable articulable suspicion I committed a crime? What? What is it? What is it?
I got a call from a trooper.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm a journalist. I knocked on the door and asked questions. No, I have no weapons on me.
Weapons on you.
We have a camera of mass destruction. I'm putting my camera down.
Don't move. Don't move until I get backup units. You can put it away.
What's your name?
Officer Romansky, it says right here. Nope, just stay right
here. He pulled out a gun on me for knocking on the door?
No, you're on his property.
I'm allowed to go on his property and knock on the door. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to learn the law, man.
No.
I'm a journalist. No, you got to learn the law.
Okay. Let's just back
I'm allowed to ask questions.
Sure.
I am.
So, let me tell you why we're here.
What's wrong with you? I'm not doing anything. I have no weapons on me. I have nothing. You couldn't stop. He has the weapon.
Literally, I was about to say that. But I don't know if I said that in my last video, but him walking up to the cop and being like, I didn't do anything, I didn't break any laws. Like, the cop is trying to secure the scene, because one dude has a gun, and then the other guy, he doesn't know what he has on him. So he's trying to secure the scene, make sure the parties are separated, like, just do his job. And then you got this guy yelling at him. It's dumb. Save it for the judge, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, no weapons. He has the weapon.
Okay. So here's the deal. So here's the disconnect.
I can and will scream to the police. Nothing can stop me.
He calls 911. Hold on.
He is by himself. Absolutely.
When you call 911 and say you're
I'm
in
gonna record,
disturbance
okay?
with somebody, we come code 3, have my lights on.
You wouldn't do this for a citizen.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't. You're doing it because he's a state trooper.
No.
That's why. You're doing it because he's a state trooper.
You do it for citizens.
Not like this.
Yes, 100% all the time. If we think there's an active disturbance, then we respond code 3, which means lights and sirens, and we're in an emergency response.
Do you see the spit on my face?
I don't.
You don't see the spit on my face? Well, I have it on camera. He spit in my face. I want him arrested. He spit in my face.
You know what? Self-disclosure time too. You wouldn't show up for a citizen this quickly, you know? There is one time I was at work, I was just about to leave work, and I get a notification on my phone saying my car has been tracked for the last like 10 minutes because I was getting out of my parking lot and trying to get out to the street and yada yada. So I call the cops and I'm like, hey, I think I know who it is, and my phone just told me that my car is being tracked, and it's like for the past 10 minutes. It shows my exact route. Like, it's insane. Cops get there in like less than 0.1 seconds. So they do that for a private citizen. I've never been a cop. There's no cops in my family. Oh.
On camera. Okay. I want you to lock him up. He spit in my face.
Yeah.
You understand that? If I spit in your face, what would happen to me? Okay.
They're being sarcastic. Not this guy, the chat.
You spit in my face? You can't do that.
Okay, I got what you're saying. Just take steps.
There's spit all over. I'm gonna go get DNA test on his spit so you can see it.
Go do what you gotta do. Let's find out what happened, the whole story.
All right, I'm gonna tell you really quick what happened, okay?
No, tell me. Take time.
Okay.
Now, why I think that Sean was charged with voyeurism and why he potentially opened himself up to that, although I don't think it's an appropriate charge, I actually have a little bit of a conspiracy theory as to why he was charged with voyeurism. So the elements of voyeurism with malice under Connecticut law, this is a CGS 53A 189. AA1. So it's a Class D felony when all the following are proven beyond reasonable doubt: that the defendant photographed, filmed, videotaped, or otherwise recorded the image of another person, knowingly, that they did so knowing what they were doing, that they had a malice, which basically means that they're going to cause pain or distress or embarrassment without consent, and they did it to something that is not in plain view, where there was. So when Sean Paul walks up to the door, he rings the doorbell and immediately steps off. Again, I'm glad he did it because I think he's doing it to avoid confrontation, but it also insulates him from any claim that there was voyeurism. And I think it's obvious that a critical understanding of the statute and a critical analysis of the statute, that this arrest lacked probable cause. But the reason I think they did it is because Sean was so traumatized by being spat upon that he pushed these officers to charge something. And except for limited circumstances, you can't make a warrantless arrest for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in your presence in Connecticut. There's like an immediacy clause, and there's a couple things going on. These officers came well after the confrontation was over. Sure, there was evidence on tape, but I don't think that this situation would have qualified for an arrest for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence. And so I believe that they arrested Sean for two reasons. One, I think that if they were going to arrest somebody, it was going to be him. They weren't going to arrest Fahey. And so they arrested him for a felony because they couldn't arrest for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence. And two, that is abuse of process, and it sets Fahey up to go ask for a protective order because now Sean has these pending charges. Now, we all know they'll probably be dismissed, but they're pending right now, which set Fahey up to at least file for an ex parte order, which are generally granted just based on the allegations and the circumstances. So Fahey goes in, he files an order of protection ex parte and says, hey, this guy showed up at my house, had a billboard truck, he was threatening me, he's threatened to kill me in the past. Again, all that may be a lie, and it may be criminal for a false report or perjury under the court's rules, but it's not defamation because that stuff is privileged when you're making the arguments to a court or to the police. But I think that they arrested him so that they could set Fahey up to get a protective order and so that they could make an arrest on the scene, and they couldn't do it for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence.
Okay, I'm gonna play this part back one more time because I just want to be sure of my statement before I say anything. If Fahey is suspected of stealing money from real, the Constitution protects Sean. I don't know, hold on.
Was charged with voyeurism and why he potentially opened himself up to that, although I don't think it's an appropriate charge. I actually have a little bit of a conspiracy theory as to why he was charged with voyeurism. So the elements of voyeurism with malice under Connecticut law, this is a CGS 53A 189. AA1. So it's a Class D felony when all the following are proven beyond reasonable doubt: that the defendant photographed, filmed, videotaped, or otherwise recorded the image of another person, knowingly, that they did so knowing what they were doing, that they had a malice, which basically means that they're going to cause pain or distress or embarrassment without consent, and they did it to something that is not in plain view where there was a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Fahey's whole house was not in plain view of any public property. Long Island audit passed 1 private road sign, almost 2 private road signs. If that second private road sign also counts for Fahey's private road that leads up to his driveway, Fahey's house was not in public view. He would have to trespass in order to see his house. So I feel like this, in my opinion, I'm no lawyer, but in my opinion, that would also count for voyeurism, would it not? So if he's going up to Fahey's door to ask him a journalistic question, whatever, like I said in my last video, this could have been an email. And then on top of that too, with like the whole malice thing, this was in public, I understand that. But the Long Island audit box truck with Fahey's past transgressions just strewn on the sides, I don't know if it's a double-sided 10-foot box truck or a one-sided box truck, but that was for just his neighbors to see. That wasn't anything where it's just like, you know, in protest. It was like just embarrassing him. But it's not trespassing to walk on private property to conduct legal business. He wasn't invited to record. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to like help you understand. So if the information is bad, everything Sean did is illegal. Yeah. They're also probably going to look and see who his tip is coming from. Golly. Because, like, I was saying in my last stream, like, how I used to be a Jehovah's Witness going door to door. If we saw signs like that. And preaching is a legal business. It really is. But going door to door, you see signs like that, you are not allowed to go past it. And I've seen some witnesses in the past who ignored it because, you know, we're going to preach God's good word to everyone. Fine and dandy. But they go past those signs and get arrested and charged. And the organization is not going to do anything to help them because they broke the law. But then Amazon drivers can't have body cameras. Most of them don't. Where are you getting that? Hold on. Body cams. Do Amazon drivers have body cams? Okay, so they have cameras, but they're in their vans recording the drivers. But constitutionally protected journalism. He was on private... Okay, hold on. Private property. Allowed to cross for journalism. Okay, in the United States, journalists are generally not allowed to cross onto private property without the owner's consent, even for news gathering purposes. Do not trespass on private property to gather news. Do not cross police lines at crime scenes. Comply with location restrictions. Damn, I need my glasses. Like advice, recommendations. Okay, quick tips and recommendations. Carry your press credentials at all times and ensure credentials are visible to law enforcement. When covering demonstrations, protests, and campaigns or political events, make sure you know in advance what restrictions are in place regarding the public's right to access and whether there are any curfews or other restrictions. Do not trespass on private property to gather news. Do not cross police lines at crime scenes. Comply with location restrictions and barriers. Absent exigent circumstances. Him being a public servant, that doesn't change anything. It is a private residence. Like, I remember seeing on the news, it was a judge and his wife. They were like holding their arms, like their guns on their front porch. And like people were gathering on the street because they knew they couldn't go on private property. So anyone who crossed onto his private property were opening themselves up to being shot because that was his private property. Okay, you may record video or audio public events, including law enforcement activities such events, as long as you are not interfering or obstructing law enforcement activities. Maintain neutrality when covering events. For example, do not join crowd chants or wear clothing with slogans related to the event. Okay, so that's nothing to do with this. Comply with dispersal orders or other directives issued by law enforcement. If engaged in an encounter with law enforcement, explain that you are a journalist covering the event and show your credentials. You may continue to record interactions with law enforcement. Alright, you have the right to refuse. We know that. Okay. Right to gather news. Definitely not neutral. No. No. Alright. First Amendment rights of journalists, right to gather news. The First Amendment protects both the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. Journalists have the right to access public places to gather and disseminate news. Public places include sidewalk and public parks, but not private property. In addition, for government-owned property, even those that allow for limited access to the public, members of the public, protesters, and reporters may be barriered if the location is not itself public. For instance, private areas of courthouse or jail and hours of access for journalists are generally limited to those when the general public is permitted to access. Private property, such as convention centers or stadiums, may be used by public entities, and public property may be used for private political party conventions. In either case, journalists may be provided access similar to the general public. For example, a judge ruled that at a state Democratic organization holding a convention in the city's civic center could not discriminate among journalists by admitting some and not others. The judge said that a private body leasing a government facility had the same constitutional obligations as the government. This will vary by jurisdiction. If you expect to be covering a convention or political party gathering, the journalist should attempt to get access/credentials in advance to allow for an opportunity for resolution of any disagreements in advance. What it boils down to is could Amazon walk up that driveway with a package and not be split and not be spit on, have Nazi-looking man bump their chest and belly? Okay, so the homeowner would have to invite Amazon onto the property in advance. So he consented to having that man there. Amazon could not conduct their business unless that man consented to it. These guys, on the other hand, they never got consent. So that's a totally different story. But what I'm getting so far is this is private property. He did not have prior consent. Wrong address. That's a good one. Because it's happened before where people like show up on my property and I never ordered anything. No, I love that you stand on business. Thanks. Wrong address. I guess we could look up cases real quick. Hold on. Amazon driver gets shot. Amazon driver shot at wrong delivery address. Let's see that. Ooh, okay, so this is a quick thing. It's just AI. An Amazon driver was shot while attempting. Driver who was using the DoorDash app for delivery. I don't know. Oh, so he does Amazon and DoorDash. Went to the wrong address in a rural area and was shot by the homeowner. Again, I'm in a rural area, so like people coming up on my property unannounced. The only thing that like kind of settled my mind was the fact that he had the Amazon van like parked on the street. Like again, it was kind of where the bushes are, so I couldn't really see the van. Like I had to look hard. But he was also wearing the whole Amazon garb thing and had a huge Amazon package. But you kind of swayed me even though I'll never own property. Oh my gosh. But the homeowner, John Riley III, has been charged in connection with the incident. Huh. I mean, the homeowner was charged, but he could have done the whole Fahey thing and chest bumped him down the entire hallway or driveway and then shot him. Okay, what does a journalist wear? A hat with a tag on it? Well, it was saying on the legal guide to have your to have your badge ready at all times, press credentials. What's the journalist's uniform? I mean, I feel like, okay, not a lawyer again, but I feel like it would also be scary as a police officer, as a trooper, whatever, to have resist tyranny just show up on your property, because that also is in connection with people saying, you know, all cops are bad, stuff like that, or kill all pigs. So for resist tyranny to show up, he could have thought, you know, in the back of his mind, like, hey, it's probably one of those ACAB people ready to kill me. But there's no such thing as press credentials. No such thing as press credentials. It's just a formality when you want free press, so they think it's VIP. Well, it says down here that if you wanted to cover something at the Civic Center, where was it? Here we go. The journalist should attempt to get access / credentials in advance. So this is coming from the organizers. That you would get credentials. So you don't show up with like your freaking homemade press badge. This is something given by the organization. Thank you, Dark Zero, for the follow. I appreciate it. So that is something completely different. Thank you. I'm enjoying my day too. Hope you're enjoying your day. But yeah, let's get back into it.
Privacy. So when Sean Paul walks up to the door, he rings the doorbell and immediately steps off. Again, I'm glad he did it because I think he's doing it to avoid confrontation, but it also insulates him from any claim that there was voyeurism. And I think it's obvious that a critical understanding of the statute and a critical analysis of the statute, that this arrest lacked probable cause. But the reason I think they did it is because Sean was so traumatized by being spat upon that he pushed these officers to charge something. And except for limited circumstances, you can't make a warrantless arrest that didn't occur in your presence in Connecticut. There's like an immediacy clause, and there's a couple things going on. These
okay.
Came well after the
I know who you're talking about.
Sure, there was evidence on tape, but I don't think that this situation would have qualified for an arrest for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence. And so I believe that they arrested Sean.
Okay, quick question. Which friend? And you can refer to them by their Spotify name. Because I think I know like 2 people that do music, and I'm not sure if you're talking about one or the other.
For 2 reasons. One, I think that if they were going to arrest somebody, it was going to be him. They weren't going to arrest Fahey. And so they arrested him for a felony because they couldn't arrest for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence. And 2, that is abuse of process, and it sets Fahey to ask for a protective order because now Sean has these pending charges. Now, we all know they'll probably be dismissed, but they're pending right now, which set Fahey up to...
Okay, pause. I'm getting Sky Daddy tickets like tomorrow night. I'm just waiting for something to come through. But that whole like backstage pass thing, I'm trying to get my second friend to come with me. He said that he's like free September 13th. I just don't know, like maybe. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to get the ticket and get my friend to also come with me. He's more of like a stay inside the house rather than party type of guy. So I kind of just want to like slowly integrate him into the concert life.
To at least file for an ex parte order, which are generally granted just based on the allegations and the circumstances. So Fahey goes in, he files an order of protection ex parte and says, hey, this guy showed up at my house, had a billboard truck, he was threatening me, he's threatened to kill me in the past. Again, that may be a lie, and it may be criminal for a false report or perjury under the court's rules, but it's not defamation, because that stuff is privileged when you're making the arguments to a court or to the police.
Yeah.
But I think that they arrested him so that they could set Fahey up to get a protective order, and so that they could make an arrest on the scene, and they couldn't do it for a misdemeanor that didn't occur in their presence. So that's what I think, and the reason that he was arrested for voyeurism. And I think the main saving grace was that he just rung the doorbell and stepped off and was 20-25 feet away from the actual porch when Fahey ultimately told him to leave. So in addition to the other offenses, we have reckless endangerment in the second degree under CGS 53A64. It's a Class B misdemeanor, but it's where the defendant engaged in conduct, and that conduct created a risk of physical injury to another person. Reckless endangerment in the first degree, CGS 53A63, is a Class A misdemeanor. Here's my argument for that. He intentionally walked inside. He intentionally got a gun. He took all of that into...
Pause. Today we're going to be recording part 2 of her song called Heavy. I'm super excited for that one. Oh, that sounds so cool. Okay, this is gonna be like a heavy ask, but if you guys are recording in a studio, can you guys like send me a picture? I love seeing like all the technical stuff of like music making. I don't understand it, but I think it's so cool to see people in the process of like making something, you know? Like I think I have a couple videos where like I make art, but I don't really like to speed paint themselves. I like actually watching me make the art, if that makes sense. Like it's an art in and of itself. I think that's so cool.
To account, and yet he didn't.
And I won't share it with people. That's another thing.
As a former police officer,
I won't.
There's no chance that there wasn't a readily available off-duty, outside the waistband or inside the waistband holster that he could have put that firearm in. Weapon says readiness. It's great.
Yes, I'm a certified gearhead. Yeah, I think we can do that for you. I'll have to chat with the studio owner. Okay. And perfectionist. Whoa! You don't know me. Perfectionist? A little bit. Is it that obvious? I try not to do that. Damn. Damn, the call out. That's so mean.
It says reasonable. An unholstered weapon when you're a law enforcement officer down at your side and you understand that you may be starting a physical confrontation, that is reckless endangerment. 100%. Not the spitting, which was what the focus of some of the legal analysis was. Yes, there's a stretch that spitting in someone's mouth, if you have bloodborne diseases or something like that, could create a risk of serious bodily injury. But the gun, unholstered, in conjunction with the menacing...
Oh, that would be another thing. So let's say, for the sake of argument, Fahey was being treated with, or for, like, some illness that was, like, contagious with bodily fluids. God, I can't even speak right now. I'm, like, so freaking geeked about this. But let's say Fahey has been treated in the past, like, he has extensive medical history about being treated for XYZ, and he spits in dude's mouth. He is trying to get him, like, sick with whatever. But no, also have to have Sky get in touch with you, like, 4 days prior. She has you down for early access to have a hard copy of her album with a signature on it. That's so cool! I'm gonna hang it. Like, hold on. Where's my camera? Oh no, it's on the wrong side. But I have like this big wide wall that me and my friend are going to like put a bunch of stuff on it about our past adventures. So that would be dope. But yeah, I want to get one of those like shadow boxes from Hobby Lobby where it's like a 4-inch thick by like 30-inch wide dark box, and you can put lights on it and you can like just make it look like a History freaking Channel thing. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to do that. But yeah, we get knickknacks from like previous adventures and we put it on stuff. So I just need to get the box. But that'd be so cute! Oh my gosh. I should get it today. I gotta finish painting this wall. Like you can see this side's green and then like over here it's just a little bit white. But yeah, I'm trying to paint this whole room white and then I need to spackle it. Well, she has said nothing but good about you, so not everyday Sky has trust in people. Oh, that's so sweet! Thank you! I really do appreciate that. Oh my gosh. And then you have this person in my chat talking about Jasmine's a perfectionist. Like, they think they know me. Whatever.
Conduct also creates reckless endangerment in the first degree under Connecticut law. So this is an easy win for Reyes without venturing into things that also invite scrutiny into his conduct. That's why reckless endangerment probably applies here for Fahey, but not for Reyes. Now, what does this mean as far as claims for Sean? Well, it's pretty obvious that Fahey acted here under color of law. He repeatedly identified himself as a Connecticut State Trooper during the incident. He used his authority, his badge status, and his firearm in confrontation. Keep in mind that when the police officer talking to Sean Paul, they're like, well, you came to a trooper's house, not you came to a citizen's house. They specifically said you came to a trooper, meaning that they considered their response to this call as a response to a fellow law enforcement officer. That, him acting under the color of law, opens the door for a 1983 claim.
Wait, you should see how Sky is when it comes to getting her music right. OMG. There would be like 100 pieces of paper on the floor. If that's not me, not in not in the context of music, but before I got my drawing tablets, I would draw the same thing over and over and over because like in my head, if it wasn't exactly like that, then I did it wrong and it's not worth doing. Like, oh my gosh. But no, I used to piss off my mom because we would, every single time we went to Barnes & Noble's, I'm like, give me a sketchbook, give me a sketchbook. So I think later on she got me like a Samsung tablet. It was like a little 7-inch one and I got a stylus and that saved her so much money because like I would constantly be like, give me a sketchbook. Which I'm sure you've heard some of her music. Yeah, it's super dark at times. Yeah, the only one I haven't played was Medusa because like I understand the whole Medusa thing and I don't want to listen to it live like in front of a bunch of people. But no, I will listen to it on my 456,000 pre-orders. Congrats! That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm proud when people like succeed in just creative adventures, like creative ventures. It makes me so happy. Cause like I'm not in it, but like I'm just happy. Oh, I cried on that one. Good luck. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because, like, I was gonna get a Medusa tattoo, but I just got, like, a sun and moon. I don't know if you can see it. Wait, my knee's in the way. But yeah, it's a sun and a moon. I think it's a better message for me, because it's like, there's always another day to do stuff. This girl, man. Oh, God, okay. Yeah, I will listen to it. I just want to, like, not need to drive after the fact. Like, I just want some time where I can just sit still and just ruminate. Oh my god. Because, like, I remember, and this was completely different, but it was like, I think it was like a Beatles song, but they were talking about, like, how this dude was stuck in space and, like, how he was scared because he was alone. Ah! Oh my god. Like, jeez, that was so sad. But anyway, let's not do this right now. Oh man. But yeah, let me listen to this goober.
Amendment retaliation because of the film and the billboard and Fahey's conduct under the color of law. So
But no, for the most part, she produces her own music, but I'm also a new producer for her, so she can focus on what she does best. Bowie, Major Tom, yes, you're correct, you're correct. It wasn't the Beatles, it was Bowie. My fave song from her is called Don't Talk About It. I love Throne. Throne is good. I like that screamy rock grittiness. It's so good. Because, like, if I ever got into music, I think I would do stuff like that. Or just also be, like, gosh, Willow Smith. I love how she just constantly changes genres, but she's still like authentically her, if that makes sense. Like, you can listen to 10 different songs from her. It's all very, very different genres, but it's still her, you know? It's so good.
So that opens up the Connecticut State Police. But because of the fact that the Groton PD sort of cooked the books here and tried to help Fahey, instead of observing this objectively, they've opened themselves up for some federal lawsuits too.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, here are the claims that are possible under these circumstances for Sean Paul. So you got First Amendment retaliation, because this is a clearly protected activity, filming a public official and engaging in speech on matters of public concern, right? First Amendment all day long. Fahey responded by pursuing him with a firearm, spitting in his face.
Wait. Hold on. Pause. I gotta play that one back.
And the billboard, and Fahey's content names for Sean. Well, it's pretty obvious that Fahey acted here under color of law. He repeatedly identified himself as a Connecticut State Trooper during the incident. He used his authority, his badge status, and his firearm in confrontation. Keep in mind that when the police officer talking to Sean Paul, they're like, well, you came to a trooper's house, not you came to a citizen's house.
Ooh.
They specifically said you came to a trooper, meaning that they considered their response to...
Huh. Okay, oh my god. Okay. So if it is anything wild, Comic Brandon, I can't listen to the rest of it, okay? Because I'm still trying to build this channel. Comic Brandon. I'm still trying to build this channel, so if I get flagged for anything, I can't. Funny Bone? I'm assuming it's this one. Okay, first off, I just want to tell you. Oh, Flash, peep the freaking Gmail. But I just want to tell you, this is with my mom. This is with my friends. Okay, won't get flagged. Okay. But, just disclosure. If I know you slightly, I cringe a little bit inside when you make something creative. This is also for me too. I look back at like previous stuff I made, I'm like, ah, God, you know? So this is nothing against you. This is just who I am as a person. I fully believe in my friends and I want them to achieve great success. I am just a cringy cringe lord, okay? So like, there's like one of my friends, they went on stage. This is a recording from like back when we were in high school. And they did a killer job. They were doing some like talent show stuff. I was covered in my blankets like it was a horror show. That's just me, okay? Oh yeah, she does have amazing vocals. But anyway, that's just me. This is nothing against you.
No. They make dinner. I hear that like, you know, they say that, oh, you're gonna have chickens? Yeah, don't name them. Don't name them because the hawks and foxes and shit are gonna come and ravage through my yard and kill them and I'll cry. I don't think I would be any less upset if I, like, little Annie got pegged or if just that white one that with a red beak got pegged. Like, I don't know if I could eat chickens if I raised them. Although I had chicken for lunch. Brandon? Bellender. Brandon Bellender.
Alright. We live at 5. Let's go!
I am an exceptional learner. And I was raised Puerto Rican. Ya el español bien para un blanquito, soy el blanquito loco.
I have shitty vocals, but we will try. We will try. Yeah, we can see what we do. Again, I'll be in Dallas, September 13th. I don't know if you have a studio there, but I will try, okay?
And we all know that's a lie because I speak Spanish.
You speak Spanish?
Did anyone in here have a childhood?
Yep.
You have to start somewhere.
My childhood was stolen by a crackhead. I had to call her mom.
Oh.
So myself in the projects, and he was a funny man. He told me all the time that if my mother had not abandoned me, he would have.
That's so mean.
Fucking hilarious to find me and Purple New Kids on the Block bicycle in the projects. That shit got stolen every day.
Okay.
Everybody in the neighborhood
Sick.
got to see it more than I did. I'd have to send my dad to beat up whoever wrote it last. So I named the bike Mom.
Oh my god.
That's what my dad used to tell me. I'm a father now. I'm a father now, and I'm not the same kind of father that my father was. I know that my daughter deserves the best, so I've started dating high-class hookers. I want her to be raised with a good example.
Wait, how did they not laugh with that? What the hell?
I know that my daughter deserves the best, so I've started dating high-class hookers. I want her to be raised with a good example.
That's so sick.
My kid's mother left me for a guy who lives with his mom and plays guitar, and that should tell you what a worthless human being I am.
Oh.
I had to resort to the internet to try to find my soulmate. Just last month, I started on Plenty of Fish, and 2 days ago, after a month of hard work, I was banned from Plenty of Fish. Following Rhode Island's catch and release laws. Sometimes when I go to say hi to a woman on the internet, my phone will autocorrect to HO, and I'll just send that. I figure it's a smartphone. It probably knows her better than I do. Any mechanics here tonight? Any mechanics at all? No, I'm the only one who knows how expensive it is to blow a tranny, huh?
That's wild. That's insane.
I recently moved on to Tinder based on a friend's recommendation.
Oh my god.
I'm not fucking friends anymore because all I match with on there are pre-op transsexuals. I grew up calling them transvestites, but apparently I was wrong. It's not.
YouTube's gonna ding me for this. Hold on.
Whenever I first have a lady over my house, I like to hide the toilet paper. Just to see what kind of problem solver I'm working with. Classy broads will go straight for the towels. One woman used all of my Q-tips.
That's disgusting.
I had 3 boxes.
It's dedication.
I'm looking for a real special kind of woman myself. One who keeps a roll in her purse. I believe that's called a truck stop hooker. So if anyone here has seen my mom, please let me know. You guys have a beautiful day. And good luck to your host.
That's wild. Oh my gosh. I know YouTube's gonna be like, hey, so 1 hour and 15 minutes into your stream, can we talk about that? Get a wedgie from hell. Oh my gosh. Let me go back to this video. Did I really? I did.
He repeatedly identified himself as a Connecticut State Trooper during the incident.
God.
He used his authority, his badge status, and his firearm in confrontation. Keep in mind that when the police officer talking to Sean Paul, they're like, well, you came to a trooper's house, not you came to a citizen's house. They specifically said you came to a trooper.
2019,
they
yeah.
considered call as a response to a fellow law enforcement officer. That, him acting under the color of law, opens the door for a 1983 claim for First Amendment retaliation because of the filming and the billboard and Fahey's conduct under the color of law. So that opens up the Connecticut State Police. But because of the fact that the Groton PD sort of cooked the books here and tried to help Fahey, instead of observing this objectively, they've opened themselves up for some federal lawsuits too. So in my opinion, here are the claims that are possible under these circumstances for Sean Paul. So you got First Amendment retaliation because this is a clearly protected activity, filming a public official and engaging in speech on matters of public concern, right? First Amendment all day long. Fahey responded by pursuing him with a firearm, spitting in his face, repeatedly invoking his role as a state trooper, indicating that the conduct was motivated by animus towards Sean Paul's free speech. That sort of response to someone exercising their rights would chill a person of ordinary firmness in exercising that right. That's why it qualifies as a free speech retaliation, because there's a causal connection between the exercising of the right and the response, and what an ordinary person would do in the face of such a response to exercising their rights. Most people.
But yeah, we were doing a show one time with Sky, and that was the show I knew what Sky's music was about. She legit broke down on stage. Oh, the song was just hard as hell to perform. Oh my god. That's insane. Like, I'm the type of person where, like, yeah, I'm outgoing, but, like, to a certain degree, singing a song that means so much to you over and over on just, like, various stages, going from state to state, probably country to country, and just repeating something that just hits hard. I could never. That's props to her there.
Don't have the backbone that Sean Paul Reyes has. They're not going to do this ever, ever, ever again. So that would chill an ordinary person. So that's why we got a First Amendment retaliation claim here on the state police. And then you have excessive use of force under color of law for state police. So you got a Fourth Amendment violation, in my opinion, too, because Fahey used unreasonable force under the circumstance. But as far as Groton PD is concerned, I believe they conspired with Fahey to abuse process, malicious prosecution, First Amendment retaliation on their part, too, because they really didn't arrest him until he kept pushing and kept criticizing their response. So that is First Amendment retaliation. It's also First Amendment retaliation because they repeatedly mentioned his approach to the door, his exercising his First Amendment rights with the billboard, all that stuff. All that was part of their calculus and the totality of the circumstances for them to make an arrest. So they, I think, are subject to retaliation claim as well under the First Amendment. But then we have an arrest for a felony that clearly lacks probable cause. All of those are Fourth Amendment claims that can be made under a 1983 lawsuit. And I think you got a Monell claim for Fahey because you got two previous incidents where they didn't do anything to him as a result of what he did in public at his job. And so you have maybe like the best and worst thing that could have ever happened to Sean Paul Reyes was this incident, because now he's got basically these two police departments on the hook as it relates to 1983 claims. He's like kryptonite to police departments. So in closing, the only thing I want to say that I think is sort of critical of Sean is that he's too smart to have not foreseen what Fahey would have done. And I think it would have been better if he had done some preliminary research as far as the GIS survey to figure out where the public and private parts of the property were. I think that it both helped him and hurt him.
Literally.
We have like a 500-foot or more driveway. I'm not sure that he knew that up front. I think it both helped him and hurt him because it made Fahey come so far out away from his home that it made his response unreasonable. But had he actually wanted to use deadly force, I think it put Sean in a really serious threatening situation. And I think that he probably would not do that again. Again, I've never talked to him. I think what he does is great, and I fully support his work. That would just be my guess as to what his position would be on it now. The other thing is, I think that it might have been wiser to get this interaction on film and add it to your sort of catalog and highlight reel of Fahey and bring the billboard separate, because to the extent that with malice on the voyeurism was even possible, it was basically made possible by the fact that he brought that truck, because you couldn't even prove that Sean used his camera while he was up there. You really couldn't prove malice, but that truck makes it hard to make the argument that there wasn't some at least harmful or malicious intent, even though it may be protected speech. I think it would have been wiser to not have both of those things happening at the same time. So that would be my only criticism for Sean. And I think that based on the fact that he had two previous interactions with this guy, and this guy acted completely unhinged in public at the state police headquarters, at work, that he should have expected that his conduct would have been worse at his own home. So those are really the only criticisms that I have of Sean. But again, it's easy to sit back here from the comfort of my chair in my office, not putting my life on the line for this kind of stuff, and make Monday morning quarterback judgments about what Sean did. Overall, 99.99%, I absolutely support what he did. Although I think that maybe if he'd had a second bite at the apple, he might not have done things the same way. But anyway, I just wanted to give my analysis. You guys have asked for it. That's where I land on it. I do think there are some serious issues. Those are my thoughts on it.
Okay. I wanted that lawyer to mention the first private road sign, the one that you can see from the cul-de-sac. That was like my main issue. I'm not saying Fahey is completely without like blame. He followed dude the entire way down the driveway. If that driveway was Fahey's, then I guess without the gun, he could follow him down the driveway without spitting too. That's another thing. He's still a goober, absolutely. But yeah, my main issue is that first private road sign. Dude is a goober. But no, he came looking for problems. And again, this all could have been an email. He is trying to ask a guy that he assumes is committing crimes based on a tip to be honest with him because he's at his doorstep. That changes nothing. Now you are on private property. And then that freaking 10-foot box truck with all of Fahey's past transgressions. That looks really bad. That whole voyeurism with malice, he never asked Fahey permission to go on private property. He never asked any of the homeowners to go past that private road sign. I am really surprised that lawyer didn't mention anything about that first sign. The second sign, kind of understandable how that really wouldn't matter. It was more so on the left side of the road than it was on Fahey's road. But that first sign was covering whatever from that pass point. So, yeah, I'm really surprised. Insanity. Insanity. What else could we watch? Oh gosh, this dude, that was insane. Oh, now he's all on my page. Yeah, let's not do that. I think he's sunk, yeah. Because, like, just looking at it right now, I think both Fahey and Long Island Audit would both get charges put against him. I would be really surprised if Fahey didn't get charges. The whole spitting thing, I absolutely was like, at least that's battery, and that's nothing? That's nothing? But fun fact though, the song called Her, where she mentions a girl, that is me she's talking about. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, she showed me you. That was so cute. You guys were in a short together, and I think you came up on stage. So you produce your girlfriend's music? That's so sweet. Ah, that's so cute. I can't. Like that chapter. I like that chapter and The Right Opinion. What do you mean? Is that like a YouTube channel? Oh yeah, I recently did my convention. Oh! Ball of purr, that's adorable. YouTube channels, okay. Let us see. So, I like that chapter. Stories from the Dark Stories podcast available on all platforms for business inquiries. Okay, and I do, yes. I feel it just helps her focus on her music more. No, that absolutely makes sense. So, like, I'm trying to understand the whole process of it, because again, I'm like, I need to know more. But, so does she make the lyrics first, and then you kind of like generate a beat around it, or you're kind of just like messing with beats, and then she overhears it? It's like, wait, that could be used for XYZ, you know? Oh, ad. Oh, gosh. The right opinion. Oh. A true crime channel's demise. What? The JC. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. Yeah, because they started all of this. I don't know if I can watch that on this channel, or the whole thing. I guess we could watch it together.
Days, analyzing people while providing my thoughts and explanations on their behaviors. In fact, a lot of people have. That kind of content has become its own.
We can watch a little bit.
Leave Britney Spears alone right.
If I have to see this damn banana again, I swear to God. Is it an ad with a banana? Wait, can I gift you? Hold on. Actually, pause. Let me try this instead. Just make sure you pause and add to it. Okay. Quick. Let me see if I can gift subs on Twitch. I don't know if I can. Or how much it costs to do that. Damn meta ad. I hate meta so freaking much. And it's not even only from a political standpoint. It's just freaking... I don't think they'll strike you personally. Yeah, it's just... Oh, gosh, I hate meta. Invite, gift a sub. No, I thought since I'm the channel... What the hell? Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I thought since I'm the channel owner, I could, like, gift a sub, but it seems like I have to pay like everyone else. Oh, I have a strike! I thought it was removed. Hold on. Let me check. Studio? Oh, not StubHub. I still gotta buy the tickets. Let me see. I'll just sub tomorrow. Oh, okay, thank you. Content. It was... I think it tells you. Analytics. Copyright. Removal request. Okay, I don't think I have removal requests. Yeah. Yeah, it's not here. At least in my... I did refute it. Friends don't strike friends.
There was a time when people would just do shit on YouTube,
gosh.
no matter how viral or eccentric, and viewers would take it in.
I remember this dude.
And move on to whatever the next upload was.
Oh,
that
that
initial
song!
reaction was enough stimulation. But times have changed. Now there is a mark of those more allured by a deeper understanding in how humans operate.
God,
Understanding what
that was
goes
so
on
long
beneath the
ago.
surface. An interest in the psychological, I suppose. The best targets of these sorts of analyses are always those that appear to defy more logic than others, whether that be through just the extremity of their rationality or just through the heinousness of the actions. People are curious as to what the answers
No, literally.
to behavior are. Whether that's because they have a penchant for understanding people, they like to make sense of things, or they just enjoy a good story. Whatever the reason, it's clear that nowadays the how and the why are just as important as
Okay,
the what.
let me see.
It's not like there's a scarcity of potential video subjects on YouTube, but the interest isn't just restricted.
I just wanted to go over here.
Yardley's ex-boyfriend, covering the murder of the titular individual and the interrogation that followed. It was presented slightly differently to previous uploads, without the usual interrogation room thumbnail, but at least it was monetized. The video performed decently, though not quite up to standards of prior uploads. Yet this did not deter them, and in the new year, they uploaded more content, covering the cases of Grant Amato and Sarah Boone shortly after. These cases performed better, with the coverage of Sarah Boone's case exceeding 20 million views.
That's insane.
Finally, Jim Can't Swim were back in the swing of things. Although, to a few loyal followers, something just felt a little off.
This is 42-year-old Sarah Boone, who you just heard on the 911 call a few seconds ago.
Though it was a question hanging over each of the new uploads, the Sarah Boone upload in particular attracted some attention from people slightly concerned as to
I think that's why Sky prefers YouTube streaming for her stuff. Because I think Spotify is like super strict, right?
what was going on behind the scenes. Although Kizum was credited as per usual for the voiceover, he sounded markedly different to earlier uploads. Not in a way that most people who put this content.
Oh, he used AI.
But definitely one that sparked a conversation here and there.
The ex-husband leaves, and the officers wait for investigators to arrive.
The accent's there, and the bass is there. It does sound like his voice, but something about the intonation is off.
This police officer was...
In a way it is, yeah.
temperament was perfect for the situation. The investigators simply asked Sarah to stay somewhere else for the night, and to come to the police station the following day with any questions she might have. Sarah stayed with her ex-husband, then showed up at the sheriff's office the next day at 3:51 p.m. with an entire hand...
Is he trying to say that the voiceover guy got replaced by AI? Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah. After JCS posted their infamous AI video and then deleted it, they came back with another video that everyone seemed to enjoy and said it was a return to form for them. But only real ones knew. It was a really old video from like 8 years ago that they just reposted. I knew they were done for. Aw. But yeah, he did admit that, like... But no, I know I cried during Medusa's song. It's really fucking amazing. So yes, I don't blame you for not wanting to listen to it. Yeah. What was it? The JCS guy, he said that like he was going to college or just had a life or something, and that's why he kind of stopped posting. So I don't think it was just the AI video that got him. Yeah.
Handwritten page of questions, the first of which was about when she's getting back her phone.
The voice here just didn't seem to pay much attention to the syntax. Each line felt somewhat detached from the other, and there was this strange repetitiveness in how the vocal tone...
That's a lot of editing, golly.
Right. And certainly didn't sound like the voice we'd come to know.
The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah, and abandons the task of pretending to, which makes this a significantly flawed, yet remarkably entertaining process to bear witness.
Now, Kazum is a competent commentator. He's been creating on YouTube for God knows how long. Although you are prone to misreading sentences when reciting a script that's been given to you by someone else, he'd already proven himself more than capable of performing to a professional capacity in previous videos.
Yeah.
It just wasn't right, and some people had a hunch that maybe this manifestation of JCS wasn't quite as human as the previous. They've been flirting with something known to...
Okay, first off, cutting costs. Dude was getting like 38 to like 55 million views per video. And these were long form, by the way. Did she tell you about a recent encounter with a label she had? They turned her down all because they didn't like the topic she was writing about. That's nuts. Literally, I keep saying, God, I keep saying this to every single person I know, but I feel like companies are so allergic to making money and getting money from people. Like, I had an issue with a guy, I was getting like a bunch of art stuff for my convention thing that I was doing. So I was like, hey, I need 200 of XYZ and 200 of this. Like, I'm probably gonna have like 10K people there. I don't want to like have too much stuff, but I want to have enough where if I sell out, I'm cool. So the order came out to, I think it was like close to $1,000, $2,000, and it was coming down to the payment time. So I was like, okay, all right, you just make an invoice and we're good to go. And he never made an invoice, and I'm just like, I kept following up with him, but later, I think it was like 2-3 weeks later, he's cutting into my time now. He's like, oh yeah, I don't like what you're selling because it could be copyright. Like, I was stealing stuff from other people. That's exactly how he put it. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? He was like, oh, you took panels from this comic book and I drew it myself. I'm like, I have a video of me drawing everything. So it's not me coming from a panel, like taking it from a comic and slapping it on my stuff. So, like, I showed him the video and he was like, oh, okay. Hold on. Saying nobody wanted to hear that sort of music? Bonkers. But you know what? They're allergic to making money. What freaking ever. That's so stupid. I mean, she already made a name for herself, literally. And I mean this just the beginning of what she has to come in the upcoming years. Yeah, labels are gonna be insane. Like, I went up to this bar I think it was like Woodlands, Texas or something like that. But they had people performing, and I mean, these are bands who play on like this Cynthia Pavilion thing, but it's like a huge stage, really, really big stage. So this one guy who was performing at a bar, I was just listening to his music, just chilling with my friends because they invited me up there. And he was talking about how Spotify was like getting this whole 70-30 thing, or 70, it was like 80-20, 70-30, something like that. But Spotify was earning 70 or 80% of all the commissions. And he was talking about trying to be like an independent artist, no label. He's like, it's difficult and you get set up from the start. So he was like, when I posted my music on Spotify without a label, I wouldn't get that many views. And then he was like, when me and my friends actually signed the label agreement, we were getting all of these views and stuff like that. But the thing is, they like that whole what do you call it, like listening or recommending a new artist thing. I only use Tidal. I'm thinking about using Tidal, but that whole recommending a new artist to people's like playlists. Labels are afraid to hear the truth on certain situations, and I mean, just looking at her numbers telling us nobody wants to hear this stuff is stupid as hell. Again, if they don't want to make money, that is fine by them. But saying nobody wants to listen to it, what freaking ever. Because, like, at the end of the day, this is just a psychological thing. So if they're like, oh yeah, nobody wants to listen to it, let's say she gives into that tactic and doesn't make music. That only makes them more money because the people that are listening to her music, they're going to go somewhere else. So they're trying to like discourage her from continuing what she's doing, and that's so freaking disgusting. They miss out, I guess. Yeah. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. If you can sell 1M records without a label, why do you need a label? Okay, so that guy, the whole Spotify tangent thing that he was talking about, so he was saying certain venues that he wanted to play at, labels got like first dibs on all of that. Yeah, she's doing well on her own. Yeah. But certain labels got first dibs on it. So like a Civic Center, stuff like that. Those really, really big venues. If you're coming as an independent artist, I think you have to do like double what you're doing to get like those really big venues instead of just like, you know, paying them whatever fee to cover the weekend or the day that you want to perform. So he was saying, it was Spotify and who else? It was like another record, but it was something like Adam Levine used early 2000s. He said like a certain venue in his hometown he could not get unless he went with that label, which is nuts. It's so rigged, all of it. And he had the numbers to prove it. Like, he was doing good. Like, he was talking about only working like 2-3 months out of the year doing like convention stuff or concerts. And then spending the rest of his time with his wife and kids. He's like, that's literally all I want. To perform my music and to provide for my family. That's it. And you got freaking labels like that who are just like blacklisting him for no reason. But then, just because you have a record deal doesn't mean... hold on. Just then, you have a record deal doesn't mean you're filling stadiums. But yeah, there's an entertainment mafia, absolutely. Plus, she didn't agree to the contract saying they would take 45% of her revenue on her song. Like, yeah, fuck that shit, man. Absolutely. J. Cole and Tech 9, yeah. It's ridiculous. But, yeah, he told me, because I was like, oh, you know, just talk about, like, making beats and stuff. Because, again, I like listening to stuff like that. But he was saying if you're ever getting into music, go for as long as possible without a label. That's it. They're just a middleman that does virtually nothing except blacklist you and blackball you. So if you have people who are just excelling on their own, there's people out there who are going to get inspired by that and try to do that themselves. So eventually it phases out this whole record deal label thing you don't need. Yeah. And then another one too. Ugh. Like movies for another thing. There's certain, certain companies like Warner Bros, stuff like that, Universal, where you have to be in their like record deals in order to be in movies. So you can't really just be an independent artist and they just get your stuff. Because I think you open the way for having, like, more talking points where you can get more money. More leverage, there you go. More leverage to get more money in deals.
Is artificial intelligence. That didn't sit right with some. In spite of its increasing use and popularity, AI had grown a highly contentious reputation in the creative industry, particularly due to concerns that people may use it to replace actual human labor while stealing from it at the same time, but also just because it almost always ends up depleting the quality of the actual creative output, with more than a fair few examples already proving this point. However, without any clear indication from JCS as to what they were doing, a netizen bit the bullet and just asked Kazum if this was indeed the case. The response was, well, uncertain. Kazum says that in the most recent video, they used something similar to AI, without confirming any of the theories. A few people quick to respond and say, AI or not, it was definitely worse than previous videos, and that they also felt the script just wasn't as good either, that something was afoot. This was repeated in a small Reddit thread where a few people gathered to try and work out what was happening. There were many different claims, including that JCS had lied in the past as to the reasons why their content was taken down, and that anyone pointing out these lines discrepancies would be censored on their platforms. There was this belief that something was going on behind the scenes, that JCS were attributing to publicly identifiable issues to keep audiences off their back. This was purely theoretical at this point, but it was also clear these concerns weren't just isolated to a handful of people. But if at least a small portion of people noticed the exact same thing, there's probably some merit to it. There was one reassurance from Kazum, that this was apparently a temporary measure and that future videos would return to the usual voiceover. It does make you wonder why they did it in the first place, but who knows at this point? All people would have to do is wait for the next upload to find out if this promise was accurate. So the fans waited, and they waited, and they waited. All to no avail, and JCS's audience became increasingly impatient and confused. As far as we knew, JCS was back, but now they were quieter than they had ever been. Their socials were completely inactive, and people took to replying to their most recent tweets, inquiring of their whereabouts. Had they finally succumbed to YouTube? Well, during those previous posts, you'd think there would be more noise if that was the case. But they weren't posting anywhere else. Had the stress just become too much for Jim and his team? Possibly, but you'd think they would have
that's him?
the peak of their conflict with YouTube. It all felt strangely uncanny, especially with the rumors surrounding the channel's team. Now, it was easy for people to theorize, given that they often didn't reveal much about the individuals behind the channel.
Wow.
But it didn't feel completely baseless either, especially now they had gone radio silent, barely a year after fighting so hard for their channel. It just didn't make sense. As soon as they had triumphantly returned, they disappeared into the abyss once more, and people were left wondering what exactly was going on with a channel whose premise and production seemed so straightforward. Would they ever return? And what would they return with?
Behold.
Well, towards the end of 2024, people would receive their answer. But it was an answer that would only leave more questions. The wait for the next JCS video lasted over a year, and some probably gave up in believing there would ever be another video on the channel again. However, as a great philosopher once said, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling. And on December 4th, fans finally received a new Jim Can't Swim episode, this one covering the cases of Amelia Bassoon and Joshua Ramsawmy, an admittedly fascinating
Gosh, their eyes are so scary. Well, his more than hers, but...
double murder. This has been covered by other creators, but JCS could always bring their own signature style to the content, right? Well,
Behold, the sacred union that unites two souls into a lifelong journey.
What the hell?
On the 2nd of December of 2017, Amelia and Joshua got married.
The video's introduction is a completely gravity-defying experience, and certainly not in a good way. Whereas in previous videos, the slightly synthesized voice flew under the radar given it was matched by a script pretty detached from its subject, here the opening declaration, "Behold," demands a human delivery, and it just is not given it. However, if that was the introduction to the video, this wasn't going to become any less bizarre as the intro proceeds, trying to tell a story, but with the AI-generated voice immediately removing any intrigue there could be.
Literally.
They danced through the night to their favorite love songs, which consisted primarily of Ed Sheeran. Then continued the celebration in their luxury hotel room that was overlooking the river.
The visuals are equally confusing, with this weird dancing visual and comedian/musician Tim Minchin being shown when they talk about Ed Sheeran. I think it's meant to be a joke, but there's no setup or delivery, so I assume most people were just left wondering who the bloke with the guitar was. The delivery doesn't become any less stilted as they begin to describe the family house, with bizarre animations that don't seem to reflect the usual pacing of a JCS video at all.
They moved to Florida, bought a house, and absolutely loved it. Except the only issue was that it didn't have a nice enough kitchen.
Ah yes, the family house with 3 microwaves.
So they decided to commit first-degree fraud.
You can see how an artist would have delivered this intro fairly well, with the rosy romantic exposition being contrasted sharply by a tonal shift into their criminal behavior.
Yeah.
But the AI voice doesn't register.
Have you seen this channel before? I think I've listened to it when I was doing like construction work. I kind of just had like a podcast type thing always playing in my ear, and I think this may have come up. But JCS, I've listened to every single video they have ever like uploaded. I thought this guy did more like gaming stuff. Not playing the games, but just talking about like game theory. May have been confusing him. I do remember this thumbnail in particular. Yeah. Yeah, see gaming stuff. Theories. Yes, I've listened to this one and I've listened to this one. I think right when they dropped too. Yeah. Yep, wrong one.
Days, analyzing people while providing my thoughts.
Oh gosh.
Day in the military. He also had no training whatsoever in combat sports or martial arts, unless you count the made-up variation of kung fu he demonstrates throughout this interrogation.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, he'll have acquired approximately 3.5 minutes of experience.
However, we all know what this escalated with at the start of 2022, the ultimate transgression against a channel, the unjustified takedowns of JCS's content.
Dude, that is fucking nuts. What is happening? Why are they doing this? Like, why are they taking down the JCS videos? They are an incredible fucking channel. They do awesome content. I don't know why the fuck YouTube is doing this.
There are few situations more provocative than when a creator is targeted by YouTube, particularly when the website seems to target multiple videos at once. Every creator knows that means their channel could be up for deletion, and JCS had multiple videos taken down in quick succession. This drove them to the point where they needed to develop an exit strategy, one that YouTube ultimately averted, but only after months-long discourse. Who knows what that conversation entailed, but it did result in return videos that were monetized. JCS relayed that YouTube had given them more tools, but those tools clearly hadn't been of any use. And if their science after March 2023 didn't tell you that they'd given up on the platform, their upload in December 2024 certainly did. Was their AI upload just an exasperated attempt from a channel that was constantly fighting for its existence?
Yeah.
Was it another casualty of YouTube's often censorious policy? Well, it's a strange one, with one really burning question at the center of it. If JCS were treated so awfully by YouTube, why do they seek to consolidate their presence solely on that platform? We know that at their peak, they had at least a 5-figure a month Patreon page. If YouTube weren't treating them fairly, then surely they could consolidate their income by referring people to their Patreon and giving it a little activity. The principle of it is still frustrating. I understand.
Pause. So he has 40,000 freaking Patreon subs. Let me see. So 40,000 times, I don't know how much he was getting. Let's say it's like, you know what? I could just freaking Google it real quick. JCS Patreon. JCS Patreon. Become a member. So $5. And he only has one tier? Yeah, tier 2, public. Okay, so it's $5. Jeez. Boy was racked up. Hold on, times 5. Dude was making $200,000 a month. A month! 40,000 times 5 is 200,000. Golly! And let's say times 24 for 2 years. Homie made $4.8 million in 2 years. If he started the Patreon 2 years ago. Golly. Jeez. I'm doing something wrong.
Understand that. YouTube has rendered your platform unsustainable alone, and it shouldn't have.
But like, okay. In all honesty, I feel like the average freaking person could live off of $4.8 million for the rest of their life. They wouldn't really need to do anything else. Why not me? No, literally. I'm waiting for the day when, what do you call it? Like, those YouTubers go on Twitch pages and they're like, oh, let's give XYZ amount of money, whatever. So I think right now, what am I asking for? Shit, hold on. Channels. Out of $3,000. Golly. But, yeah, I'm trying to get You'd Never See Me Again. No, literally, oh my gosh. I've seen so many people talk about how, like, oh, this channel was so good, and they were such a sellout because once they got their money, they lived a normal life. Yes! Yes, I would do that. But not, like, just disappear off the face of the freaking planet. Like, I would let you guys know. I'd probably slow way the hell down and just, like, make stuff that actually means something to me, you know? Like, all of this, I love being creative. I love being online. But I wouldn't push as hard to just stream, you know? Like, I would try to make some, like, big project that's always been in the back of my mind. Or, like, in my notes app on my phone, I have, like, insane projects on my phone that I want to do, but I'm like, I have to start small. But if I have $4.8 million, I would get the cameras, I would get the setup, I would get the camera crew, and we would be out there recording, and everyone would be paid nicely. I'll start woodworking and making porch swings only, honestly. But, like, I want to learn how to make music or, like, edit CGI, stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, there is, another tangent. But I remember Markiplier went to Corridor just to, like, intern for a little bit. You would see me doing stuff like that. I'm not even joking. I was so jealous when I saw that. Like, ugh. And then he's, like, doing Amazon Prime shows that he's directing. You would see me doing stuff like that. Ah, man. I wouldn't just be doing YouTube. Let me see. We need universal basic income so people have generational wealth are not prioritized. Yeah. That's like with Sky when she got her first payout for music. She kept it going with music and still kept her life on track. Hence why she's doing live shows with music. Absolutely! Like, it is a graduated version of why you started being creative. I would do that. This is like, okay, yes, I would have YouTube kind of going on in the background, but it wouldn't be my priority anymore. I want to make, like, big budget stuff, you know? Not anything on the scale of, like, it being played in theaters around the world, but just, like, oh my gosh, I can't even go into it without spoilers, but it would be like a multi-part freaking series. And I have so many freaking pilots, it's insane. It's not even fair. Though her first payout was considered low to some people, but that's all she needed for her push into music? Yeah! Like, who was it? I think it was James Gunn, but he was doing an interview after he got fired from Marvel and him going to, like, some Brazilian Comic-Con. hold on, let me finish my thought before I start that one. But he was going to a Brazilian Comic-Con, and he was talking about, like, the feeling of emptiness he felt when Marvel let him go. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to support myself with the money I have now for the rest of my life. So I'm thinking, whatever James Gunn has in his bank account is probably more than enough for me. So having this money where it's like, oh, it's considered low to some people, that would probably be more than enough for like all three of us in this room right now. I literally do want to learn to write scripts and direct and would build a studio. You have no idea. No, absolutely. Okay, I got the right people in chat right now. So when I built my PC, I'm like, I want to build another one. Because I heard you can have multiple PCs hooked up together, so it's faster render times for, like, heavily edited videos. Not necessarily the ones for just YouTube, but, like, these big blockbuster effects that take, I mean, it would probably be months for my computer to render on its own. I would love to have just a farm just to edit that stuff. Like, it would just be maybe like 6 hours to like just process all of that stuff. I would blow up my PC if I attempted anything. So like right now, part of that 3,000 that you see, oh my gosh, the 100 out of 3,000, part of that, besides the YouTube content truck where I can haul like all my camera equipment and me and my friends can just go record willy-nilly, some of that is going to go to this editing software, DaVinci Resolve. Hold on. I'm gonna show you the stats. The stats. I love talking about stuff like this. DaVinci Resolve. Let me get to the homepage. But God, I love technical stuff. Oh man. Like my first PC, I just bought it from Amazon. Sucked to high hell. My second PC, I got it off of Craigslist, but it was in a trade because this guy, Gearhead, yes. This is not loading fast enough, but this guy was like, if you build me a fireplace, I will give you my PC. So, me and my mom, we go to his house because she was like, oh, you're not going alone during this trade. Fine, whatever. So, I go to his house. I'm not even joking. This dude, ex-military, he was like high rank, whatever, but he loves computers. I go inside his house because he was like, do you want some cocoa? Do you want some chips? Because it was like freaking maybe 15 degrees outside when this was happening. It was November. But I am not even joking. It is this huge, like 30-foot by 40-foot living room. And like all of the tables, anything that was horizontal, had PC parts on it. Like he was that much of a gearhead. Her two biggest payouts was with Triggered and Medusa. Those combined are crazy. Yeah, she told me about some of them. I'm like, go get it, girl. But like what I could see, because he had, I mean, piles of just computer parts. Easy 10K, just there. And then the PC that he gave me, I think I paid about like $450 worth of like materials, and I guess with labor be $1,000 between like me and my mom because she helped me. He gave me a $3,000 PC because he was like, here you go. I appreciate the effort and her enthusiasm. It's just so good. Like, I'm happy that young people are into technology. And he gave it to me like it was nothing. I'm like, homie. But I do appreciate it. But ever since then, I've been like swapping out parts in my PC, and I think the GPU, that's new. The M.2, that's new. And then I've added a bunch of like SATA cables. You spend $3,000 on a $500 computer. No, I spent $450 on a $3,000 computer. But yeah, the problem is how fast things improve. Yeah, so what my PC does is it like, I guess renders on an AI level before like this whole AI push thing was huge. Because me and my friend, we were trying to get him his own like desktop computer so he can make YouTube videos. So the guy that we were like buying that other PC from, he's a tech head himself, and I showed him the stats of my PC, and he was like, why the hell do you have all of that? I'm like, I don't know, I just make goofy freaking videos on YouTube like a goober. But, oh my god, hold on, let me get to DaVinci. DaVinci Resolve. Because I think it's up to 18. Oh, it's 20. Oh, here's this. Ugh! The good shit. And this is stuff that Marvel uses, Warner Bros. Use, like it shows you. Disney. Oh, I love the color grading, and it's so beautiful. Cause see, that scene right there, my PC would die. It would shit on itself and die. That's so good. Oh! That's so good. Oh, that's so good. But no, first and foremost, I would get, you kind of have to have the pro version to even learn it. No, yeah. The pro version, because I have 16, I heard horrible things about DaVinci Resolve 18, so I never upgraded. I am going to keep DaVinci Resolve 16 on this M.2, because I think my OS is on there too. But I am going to buy the full version. So right now, it is $295. Let me see. And I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, I love that thing so much. Every time I look down, oh my god, 64, bitch! But, oh my gosh, so it'd be $295 total, tax to be disclosed. I would get this, another M.2 that's probably like 4 terabytes. Because I saw one on Amazon. But the thing is, okay, if I would get this program, I would need another M.2 for the storage so I can put my OS on there. And I want to keep DaVinci Resolve 16 available on this one. It's not going to be the full version. But let me see, because it was that I have enough power. And then I'd probably need another probably 4 terabyte M.2, because you can have a 4 terabyte hard drive and it's not as fast as the M.2. So you open yourself to these risks of like shutting down your whole PC, because how the M.2 works, it's like immediately connected to your motherboard, so it's just faster processing. The hard drive, if it's a disk drive, which a hard drive is, excuse me, I'm drooling, but it's a disk. Basically, you open yourself up to having higher latency issues, and then the disk scratching. So your program, the studio license, all of that can just be at risk because the hard drive is prone to failing. So, God, having all of like your projects on the hard disk drive, oh my god. But you run the risk of losing the program itself, all of your editing stuff, everything that you've rendered issues because it overheats. So that's why I need an M.2, and those things are like, I think 400 on Amazon. I was about to open Amazon right now, but I'd like dox myself. But God, yeah, $295. And then the hard disk, not the hard disk, the M.2, that's another like 500. But, and then I would have to get the camera as well, because to get something this high quality, I would need their, I think it's the Ursa? Or not the Ursa, hold on. Color, what's new, panels, console, studio, they have training? Like actual sites in Houston? Oh! Wait. With curriculums designed for new users and established professionals like Blackmagic Design certified training teaches you skills you need to be more creative, work faster. Job done. No. 250 certified training. Oh, 100 training centers. Oh! Oh! I didn't know that was a thing. Hold on. DaVinci Color. Video. Advanced Color. Because I just love color so freaking much. Also available in Spanish, German. Is this Lithuanian? I don't know. Mini panel. Delivering content. Color management. Fairlight. Because I sucked with Fairlight. I really don't understand it. The sound design. Oh, I want to get into sound design. Shut up. Oh my god. Okay, so off stream I will be looking at this, but 90% of this I don't have access to because I'm using the free version of this, which is okay right now. I don't want to like learn all this stuff and then get the program and forget it and then needing to do it again. I'd rather just get the program and learn it as I have this stuff available. Oh, God. Training books. Oh, 18. Okay, so we're up to 20. That's not good right now. But once you have it, it's yours, absolutely. And then it has free upgrades for like a lifetime. Training type. Traditional classroom. United States. All states. No! No! I bet they have it in LA. Or is it California? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Motion Pictures Editors Guild. Oh god. Okay. That'd be wild if they have it in Ohio. Okay, I was about to say, if they have it, check Massachusetts. 1. Boston. That makes sense. Because I think there's like a couple of studios there. Kentucky? Yeah, it's probably only the major. Connecticut. New York, they would have it. LMNO. Yeah. Manhattan Edit Workshop. Oh. Muse Shop? That's so cute. So New York. So you got it in Boston. What about Virginia, my home state? Yeah, no. Okay. So Florida, obviously, it's gonna be there. Yeah. Hawaii? That is a huge, like, recording site for all jungle scenes. No? That's bonkers. Alabama? There's a bunch of sites there. No. Georgia? Wow. That not being in Georgia is insane to me. Maryland, Maine, hold on. Montana. Let's just look at all states. New York, LA, Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Orlando. Yeah. California, New York. Hollywood, California, that makes total sense. Wow. Pennsylvania? That's crazy. Lone Tree. Los Angeles. That's insane. Literally only the biggest centers. Yeah. So let's see. Academy training. Okay, New York, Pennsylvania. Not Michigan. Maryland. What the hell? Indiana? Oh, Purdue. Okay. New Mexico. Damn. But, oh yeah, I said I was gonna go to the cameras. I love the specs. Okay, so there's one. So why not Houston and Dallas? I don't know. So, for like downtown, I think it's like an hour north of me, but downtown Houston, there's this like, I guess, independent guild where people just come together and make movies themselves. So there's this camera, I think it came out in like 2011, but it's like full HD or 2K, something like that. Consoles, panels, keyboard. I need to find the cameras. I love cameras. Keyboards, panels, consoles, tech specs. Alright, hold on. Oh, there we go. Keyboard panel, color panel. Yeah, because like all of this stuff, I don't even have space on my desk for it. I would need to probably wall mount all my monitors, or both my monitors. Probably get a third one, Because I think once you get the full version of DaVinci... I know! 8K and 10K. Okay, so if I were to do both of that, I would feel justified probably showing it on one of those like independent theaters or indie theaters. But like 8K and 10K, if I were to upload that to YouTube, it would only go up to 4K. So it is just a waste of time to have 8K and 10K. But oh damn. Hold on. God, what was I saying? Yeah, okay, so the full version. If I had the full version of DaVinci Resolve and I had the M.2, the camera, God, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I could have another monitor on my wall. So it could be the active screen, how I'm editing. Another screen just shows a preview that is it's just static. It just shows a preview of the shot you're editing, so you can see it how people would see it. And then over here, I could have like my Fairlight, my color, and my sound design all on this monitor. So that means, oh my god, getting another monitor. I have a third one. I just need to find the cable. My job, it gave it to me. They gave it to me. But the cable kind of broke, so I'm just in charge of finding that one. If I can find it, I can keep it. But I wanted to give it to my friend because he's just starting out too. Where is it? Hold on. Where's the cameras? Color fair. Oh, Fusion. Oh my gosh. I don't know anything about Fusion. Spatial audio. I forgot which movie I was watching, but it was like something creepy happening behind you. I think it was Split, like the 2017 one that came out, but something was creeping up behind you, and I was in theaters, and it felt like I could feel whatever just behind me getting closer, like fingernails touching my back and neck and like behind my ears. It felt crazy. I love that. Where is it? Cut, edit, no. Okay, cameras. Because I think the Ursa was the one that was like 8K. DaVinci Resolve. Or just Black Magic, because I think it was Black Magic. Yeah. Yeah, the Ursa! Yeah, this is like 7K. I would have no need for this. Red cameras? Ah. I think they are. No, those things are stupid expensive. Are you talking about the Komodo? Hold on. Sony versus... Yeah. No, versus... No, I want to do the Ursa. Ursa. Yeah! Asked before, but it's like very specific way. Let me go get my glasses. Oh, I love this shit. Okay, so I'm just making the screen blank because I'm getting up. But I will be back in like 0.2 seconds. I just need to go find my glasses. Hi. We're sitting here eating raisin bread. Hold on. But yeah, I think the only reason I would get an Ursa first, if I had to choose, if I had the opportunity to choose, you have better options with color grading, because I think that's like coding. God, hold on. But yeah, you have like better options with like color grading and stuff. Since you're using DaVinci Resolve, there's something in the coding where you can like access the footage and manipulate it better versus the Komodo. So it just has better image quality. That's the thing. Durant Lamar, you won't? Who's that? Durant Lamar. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Oh god. Yeah, I'm just not even gonna look at that. But yeah, I'm no longer a Christian. Now, if you did some like goober shit, then you know, I'd watch it. Hmm. Damn, 8 pounds is crazy. Oh yeah, and the Sony FX9, that was another one. Mm-hmm. Damn. And I think with Sony, or not Sony, I think it was Netflix. But if you were like an independent person and you wanted your stuff on Netflix, there are certain cameras that they just don't allow to be on their network. Yeah. Let me see. Netflix camera specs list. Requirements and best practices. That was another one. This is so cool. Mm-hmm. Approved camera list. Oh yeah. So yeah, minimum of 4K. Codec lightly compressed, uncompressed raw, or in frame. Base codec, 2 chroma subsampling. It is so insane to me. Where's the... There we go. Ah, I'd have to open this up in Chrome to get the right pictures. But yeah, if you want to be on their network, you need to have one of these cameras, or the brand of camera. So for me, they do Blackmagic. There we go. The Ursa Mini. That was another one. Oh my gosh. People are like, oh, Trailer Park Boys is low budget. And I'm like, you realize those cameras alone cost thousands. No, literally. Oh my gosh. Because, like, another thing was, like, this is completely different, but it's still kind of like the same thought process. But I see YouTubers, and these are, like, established people who do content all over the world. I'm like choking on my own saliva right now. But anyway, these are people who do content all over the world. They have teams, they have editors, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, if you want to start out, you just need like a little PC, that's it. Maybe, you know, desktop, whatever have you. But like the bare freaking minimum. Nobody is going to watch like super, super low quality stuff. Like even to get me, hold on. Oh shit, I just started recording. Like to this point, it still looks shitty. But this is thousands of dollars worth of stuff as is. It is not just get a little computer and your camera and just be done with it, you know? Like, I know I still need to do better. Like, this thing, I think it was like $320. The arm was like $17. This monitor was like $1,200. This monitor was $500. This PC is worth $3,000. That light over there, that one I think was minimum $77, but I think it went up in recent time. But to even get to this point alone is thousands of dollars. I haven't even included my desk, any of the cables, the cloud lifter over here, the preamp over here, the tripod, the desktop arm for like my monitor. All of this stuff, the stream deck too, like there is so much that comes, there's so much that comes with even making basic freaking videos. And I still have another camera, another mic for like my travel stuff when I record on the go. Even that comedy video where I'm just talking had to be 1080p. And in their communities, you can find this stuff on the side of the road. Yeah. But yeah, and then freaking this cable alone I think was $60, and I got 2 of them. These headphones, they're $150. I got them for a steal at $50, but I'm just like, people saying like, oh, it doesn't take much to make content. It takes a lot. I'm still building. To them, that's nothing. Yeah. Which is insanity. But for them to be like, oh, you just need a computer and a mic and a camera. Like, you don't need much. You need a lot. Because, like, when I first bought my first PC, looking at the specs, it should be able to stream. When I actually did try to stream, it wasn't good. And it wasn't even on, like, the internet's fault. It was just my PC was not good. Like, stuff is rapidly, like, in there because you have the minimum. You have to make the algorithm work in your favor. That's another thing too, marketing costs. But yeah, when I was trying to stream with that other PC, it just was not happening. No matter how I cut it, like it was just crazy. But oh my god, capitalism makes everything competition. Well, I mean that's what it is. But yeah, so even like, let's say count my luckiest freaking stars. Someone hands me this camera right here with all the lenses, the tripod, the body tripod, like all of it. If they just gave me this camera right here, I could do nothing with it because I would need to upgrade everything else so this would work with it. Like, my first computer, I wanted to upgrade the GPU. It wasn't enough. So, it's another thing with compatibility. So even if, like, on paper it says it should be fine, it just takes one update and it ruins everything. So you have to just be, like, getting the best of the best all the freaking time, keeping up with the Joneses to even get, like, a freaking camera like this. And it's beautiful. Let me see. Because I think when you want to buy this, it is just the brains. Search. Yeah, that one freaking camera is $34,000. And just the brains is $24,000. That is worth more than my car. Golly. Ooh, pre-order. But yeah, and this is all back to people saying like, oh, JCS, they left and they're not making any content. That's so sad. I wish they did better. He made $4.8 million. Again, that's probably not enough for like this big blockbuster camera, but I think it was what was that freaking movie called? But it was like a horror project. It only took them like $1 million to make it. Insanity. And they're making more, and I think they got like what, 20? It was 12 to 20 million off of it. That's a studio though. I know. Was it Blair Witch Project? I think it was. But yeah, it cost them $1 million, and I think it was a team of like maybe 20 people. Insane. But no, if I ever got a camera like that, I would want my own studio. It has its own M.2. I did not know that. No matches. No matches? What? Wow. Insanity. Mm-hmm. Your dog just farted. Oh my gosh. It's fun. It's so fun. Like, I forgot which video it was, but I think it was like 2020, something like that. It was a dude recording with, like, I don't know if it was this camera in particular. I'd love to find it again. But yeah, this camera in particular, or another camera. But he was walking, and his guide didn't let him know there's a tripping hazard coming up, so he trips. The camera falls first, lens down, and then he falls on top of it, and he gets up, and he looked like his soul was no longer in his body. And you see why. This thing's like freaking almost $30,000 by itself. No lens. You don't even know how much that lens is worth. Yeah, because he had a body rig that looked just like this. Exactly. That's so pretty. That camera is a life decision, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, stuff like this. Like, I still need to learn what most of these mean. So let me see. XLR audio inputs. Okay, no. Nope. 12G SDI output. I think that's for audio. USB-C viewfinder. I saw, okay. So I have a spare iPad. I want to fix it and give it to my mom. But the original plan for that one was so I can make it a viewfinder. That thing is 12.9 inches long. But I saw this guy, he rigged up that exact model iPad and made it a viewfinder, which is insane. Because a viewfinder, I think for the Sony A7 III, that was like anywhere from 100, because it was like pre-owned, to like 700, fresh out of the case. But yeah, that kid falling like on that camera, he just looked like he died. Like all his blood was just gone. Alright. TC, I don't know what that one is. I'm pretty sure all of these are just audio channels for like coding. 10G. Why would you need an Ethernet cable? Oh, okay. All right, so that's another thing with this one. Ooh, I just kicked my camera. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Okay, so the 10G Ethernet cable, when the camera crews are out in the sun recording and the director is back under like some patio thing in the shade, I saw one of these setups, and I think you can connect it to another iPad, again, on a tripod. But you put like one of these Ethernet dongles. I don't think I have one on my PC right now. But basically, you hook it up to the back of the camera, and it sends live footage from that camera as it's recording to a monitor that's wirelessly somewhere else. Like, that's insane. So I don't even know how much that rig is. 12 volts plus 24 DC. Okay, so you just plug it in on standby. I think you can hook that up to one of those like wireless battery packs. And those things are like, I think 194. I don't know for this model in particular, but generally those things are about like 200 bucks. Headphone jack. RS3 pin fisher? I don't know. I guess if you're narrating on the go, I don't know what that's for. Oh man. Yeah, so most of the time people don't use a viewfinder that's on the side of the camera. They just have one where they can rig up on the back of like that whole mechanical rig. So it's like the camera brain, that viewfinder that's on the side, the one that's on screen right now. They don't really use that one, so they put a viewfinder that's like, imagine you're facing like over here looking towards the camera. So there's that viewfinder on the side that we can see on screen. And then there's like a 5-inch viewfinder over here that you can tilt, so the cameraman can look at that while he's being guided. Like, ugh. But yeah, if I ever got this camera, I would need like a team of people. And I'd love to have a writer's room. Good God. Oh my gosh. Let me see. 5 color science films, new film curve design, massive amount of color data. This sensor delivers better color response for more pleasing skin tones and better rendering of highly saturated colors such as neon signs, ew, and car tail lights. Divine. Yeah, so this is the battery pack I'm talking about. And then the viewfinder's over here, so most likely he has its own. So this is the battery pack, this is the brains. Right here is the top handle for the rig, and this one, I think this is the audio. That's a viewfinder. Over here is that wireless feed. So you just need a 1/4 mil. I mean, yeah. And that's not even including like paying all the editors and actors and stuff like that. But this is the wireless feed. This goes to the director. I can't see what this one is. That looks like it's audio. It's the lens and then the box for the shade. Yeah, I need to figure out what this is for. And then this one. Because I think this is like some type of encoder thing that gets sent up here to the director. Damn. So if you had that camera in DaVinci Pro, what would be your first project? Hold on. I want to see if it's in my notes on the phone or the notes on my iPad. It's probably not this one. Car repairs inventory. Abstract intro. Filmmakers Club. Oh gosh, okay. So, God, okay, I feel like the only way I could say it is just saying it outright, because I can't say it without spoilers. But basically, my first project would be like an off-brand version of the Powerpuff Girls, but instead of Plutonium being like wanting to be a father, he's just like some creep that had a lab. But like all the Powerpuff Girls, 2 of them are okay. The other one, the third one, I can't say who because I don't want to spoil it. But they all go to college, they all have regular jobs because, like, again, the professor's a creep and he's not providing for them, but they're also kind of like in a slave situation. But oh my gosh, it's sort of like a coming of age thing. I can't really explain it without spoiling it, damn it. But basically, it would be that. I have like a bunch of lines already written in my book, but I can't say it. I feel like the only thing I can say is that, like, I've seen it happen before where people have like these no-name studios and it's star-studded for no freaking reason. I already have a cast for it, but it would be something like that. Or it would be like one of those make your own adventure like YouTube situations. Like a heist with Markiplier. A heist with Markiplier. When I saw that, I'm like, I want to do exactly freaking that. But it would be more so of like old Western futuristic type thing. Not like cowboys and aliens, but it would have like its own. Oh god. There'd be like, I want to do like 13 endings. 12 endings you can find. And then the 13th ending, I want it to be like a major secret thing. But I want to see if YouTube would allow it, because the way that I'm thinking about having the 13th ending done, it would have to be with YouTube's permission, because like, oh my god, I can't say it. The way the 13th ending plays out, it would have to be like a coding issue. You've never seen Cowboy Bebop? Nope, I never have, but it's not like that. It's not like that. It's like time travel. That would be my first project. Or the Powerpuff Girls one. But, oh my god. I want to have like a writer's room and stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of stuff could be fleshed out. Oh man. But the Powerpuff Girls one, it would be like a mystery to solve too. My gosh. Ugh. But yeah, it would be stuff like that. I'm trying to think of the other stories. I think I would also want to get into animation as well. I've always wanted to learn. I just never had the patience for it because I don't know what I'm doing. And like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll try to figure out how to like use Blender or use Toon Boom, something like that. And it never works out like the tutorial. It feels like there's always skipping something. Who would you hire for your writer's room? Could they smoke weed? Who would I hire as a writer? I definitely wouldn't hire Christian Link. I don't like the way he did season 2 of Arcane. Who would I hire as a writer? Maybe James Gunn? I feel like he would work on that pretty well. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't have anyone in particular who would be like a writer, you know? I guess someone who's like caught my attention. I don't know. Let me think of like favorite movies. I feel like whoever was writing on what was that show? I think it was like Common Symptoms, something like that. But it was talking about like the pharmaceutical industry secrets and stuff. I would love that. See, what's crazy is, Common Side Effects. That was a show. I love that one. The writers who got quoted write for themselves. What do you mean? Like the writers that I mentioned, Christian Link? Because I think it was like season 2 of Arcane. They did have a writer's room. I'm not sure about season 1. If you write something for a show, the actor gets quoted. Or worse, the character. I feel like it'd be better if it's the character getting quoted, you know? Like the writing is so good that onlookers think or feel like the character actually did say that from their heart. You get quoted all the time. Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Will it play? Ooh. Yeah, so the higher the FPS, the better the slow-mo you can do. Oh, that's so clear. Alright, M.2. Alright, there's a digital camera with ultra fast high capability cloud store technology built into it. Blackmagic media module is fast, rugged, and includes a massive 8 terabyte storage. It's like a cloud store mini built into your camera. The high speed storage lets you record at the highest resolutions and frame rate for hours and access your files directly over a high-speed 10 gigabyte Ethernet. Or you can use the media you already own with the optional Blackmagic Media Module CF, which has dual CF express slots. The module can be easily removed from the camera and loaded into a Blackmagic dock for transferring media to a network or to Blackmagic Cloud for instant global collaboration. Ugh. Bullet time. 8 terabyte on that is 59 seconds. I was about to say, like, 8 terabyte is not big at all. Oh my gosh. Because I think you can also, like, rent cloud storage from Blackmagic, and it's not that much either. Like, the lowest one they offer, I think, was 8 terabyte. Yeah. Because let me see. Highest M.2 storage amount. Okay, the highest storage capacity currently available for consumer M.2 SSD is 8 terabyte. Check how much it really is. No, I saw on Reddit this guy was talking about how, like, I think it was like 16 terabytes on his PC. He was like, is that enough to record? And like everyone was laughing at him and downvoting. Like obviously no one was helping because that's Reddit. 4 terabyte. Yeah, no. Let me see. How much storage do I need for my Blackmagic Magic Ursa camera Reddit 12K 24 frames per second. All right, here we go. So you can see the site's file size calculator to calculate file size. Simply select the codex resolution and you have your answer. Okay, let's check that puppy out. Alright, so we got 12K. Oh, it doesn't even have it. Alright, let's just do 8K 24 MPEG. Check. Bitrate. Okay, yeah. Durations, hours. Let's say you recorded for 6 hours that day. Stereo, surround. Use default. Calculate. 172 gigabytes. So that's 1 terabyte and 27 gigabytes? Or no, it's 1,000, right? Raw. It doesn't say. I feel like we could do slow motion. That might help. Yeah, it's still the same. Including backup. Yeah, there's no raw option, but I get what you're saying. Two terabytes will usually get me 2 days of dock style shooting for the Mini Pro 12K in 8K while flipping between 60 and 30 frames at 12, oh, the ratio 12:1 or 18:1 or Q5. Oh, okay, MPEG. Oh god, okay. 126 gigabytes, yeah. Damn. Wait, let me restart it, see if that helps. Nope. Video bitrate. Let's do 8 hours. Okay, 169 gigabytes. So 1/8 terabyte, yeah. 2 terabytes, let me see. Obviously it depends on multiple factors, and the calculator is going to give you a more scientific answer. By lower compression, you could have a massive swing in size, usually the lower ratios and cues. And if you're doing narrative and being conservative about not rolling when you don't need to, you'll save a lot of space. My favorite phrase for when we're rolling and wasting time after sync up is we're burning gigabytes. Yeah. Lord have mercy. Sorry, my nose is like clogging. I'm doing a 2-day music video shoot, and so I have to assume, I assume I'll be able to be pretty conservative. This helps a lot, thanks. Golly. But you need RAM. I have 64 gigabytes. I don't know if you can... Is there 128 gigabytes? Hold on. 128 GB RAM. Slots. Desktop. All. HP desktops with 128 gigabytes of RAM. Omen. I don't use Omen. Yeah. Ooh. Let me see. Alright, it's quite easy to have 128 gigabytes of RAM these days. You just need a motherboard that has 4 RAM slots and use 4x 32 gigabytes of RAM. So it's possible. So my PC has 8 slots for RAM. Let's see. Let's see if that's compatible. I always use PC part picker. Alright. Let's see. Start your build. Motherboard. Let me check my phone real quick because I have my PC stats on my YouTube in the about section. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, when he gave me the PC, I was like, are you freaking sure? But thanks. I didn't question him too hard. He was like, here, just take it, go. Fine by me. Alright, so motherboard is an ASRock Fatality X399. Okay, ASRock FATA1. Oh, hold on. Oh, do we not even have it? X399. Hold on. X399. ASRock. Oh, ASRock Fatality X399. Alright. Ooh! Ooh! Wait! Where did I see it? Damn it. X399. Control A, Control C, Control F, Control V. Yeah, because I thought I had that one. What the fuck? I literally just had it. Oh. Alright, so add 128 gigabytes. It does take it. Ooh. So let me see. Last 2 years. Oh, it takes 128 gigabytes. I am only working at half power this whole time. Golly. Oh. Oh, hold on. Crossfire capable. Oh, and I could have 2 freaking GPUs. Wait, can I have 4? That's greedy. Why would I need that? Hold on. Let's search Google. Images. With what money? Ooh! $128 gigabytes of RAM. SLI. Huh. Okay, first off, which is the newest GPU that does that? Or can we just like Google that? Yeah, the highest is DDR4. I think I'm rocking this one or this one. Jeez. M key. Okay. YouTube ports, onboard Ethernet. I do use those. I love those. Need that, yeah. RAID support. Oh. Alright, let's go back. And video card. Where's the SLI? Yeah, I have this one, the 3060 12 gigabytes. I thought I had a 3020 this whole time. This guy running at half capacity. I know, shameful of me. PCIe. Let's do 4-way. Oh, dear God. 12 gigabytes? Where is it? Does it say minimum? Yeah, because it makes no sense. Oh, 8. 16! 1100. That's insane. Golly. Because I think I have a Ventus 2 OC 2X. Yeah, that's not SLI. Oh, wow. So 4 gigabytes. So that's 16. I mean, that's marginally better if I got that, and it's 400, almost 500 a pop. Let me see. So 24. Yeah, so they said anything past the 3000 generation for GPUs is bad. 16. Oh my gosh, you can have 4 freaking 16s. Okay, so when you say kit, is that one where you can, like, I think they give them away at Micro Center. Yeah, let's check out a kit. All. Yo. One terabyte of RAM? From the normal people. I want to know who is using 1 terabyte of RAM and why. Oh. So yeah, I would just need 4 sticks of 32 gigabyte. Golly. One, so 16. It's AMD. I kind of want to say MSI though. And that's 8. Black Magic Red Scrubs? What's that? $16. AMD Fire. Okay, I would like MSI. Chipset. MSI. Ooh, 300. 260. That's really good. So if I got 2 of those, it would only be marginally better. Because again, this one GPU is 12 gigabytes. God, if I was thinking right back then, I should have just got like 2 of these and called it. When you're editing video, the scrub is the length of the video. Black Magic Red is the camera. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, because it takes forever to render on freaking my PC, but it's the free version, so it's going to render on the CPU rather than the GPU, so that's why it takes forever. Oh, man! Let me see, MSI. Ooh. And I have a big enough case that it would fit all of that, too. What the fuck? Right, but then you'd have the option to only run one of certain tasks. Yeah. Huh. I'm trying to find one that's 16. 16 gigabytes, I don't see it. Yeah, so I guess the best we're rocking with is this one. 8 gigabytes. 260. Uh, Ugh. Yeah, I'd probably. I'd probably only do 3. Can I do 3? Yeah, 3-way instead of 4-way. 8 gigabytes. Just get freaking 4 of these and have 4 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, not RAM, freaking GPU. 6. Right on. MSI. Cause like I know AMD is good. I think I'm sticking to MSI just because I like it. VRAM, yes. The visual RAM. All right, let's do EVGA. Oh shit. Hold on. I know EVGA is good. Yeah. They probably do 4, not 3. No, wow, okay. I'm a liar. Cause like I rather use 3 because it gives my PC a little bit more space to cool. Like airflow room. Let's see. Corsair, AMD, Asus. Gigabyte. No, it's fine. HP, no. Lenovo, Nvidia. Actually, let's see what Nvidia is by itself. Nothing crazy. Okay. That's 24. Make sure your CPU is compatible. That's another thing. Hold on. Builder. CPU. Yeah, I have a Threadripper. I think it's 2950. CPU. AMD Threadripper 2950X. That is her. Alright. Memory. I have the Ripjaws. G-Skill Trident Z. Worst mistake, you'll make us bottlenecking the CPU with unused GPU overhead. Yeah. But I mean, once I get the full program for DaVinci Resolve, it's all gonna be on the GPU or CPU, depending on however I set those. So let me see. Trident Z. G-Skills Trident Z. That'll be them. Let me see. 216 gigabytes. Let me gotta add more. Add. Okay, so 2, 4, 6. I need 2 more. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my PC so far. The CPU cooler, I want to get liquid cooling so badly. Okay, let's not even worry about that. I heard bad things about this because I was gonna upgrade to either this or this, but I heard someone say that like they're overclocking their PC and it melted something in here and it was just freaking liquid everywhere, ruined everything. Storage. Hold on, is there an M.2? M.2 8 terabyte? Oh my gosh. I thought it was freaking 500. Western. Samsung. Wow, it doesn't even have a price. Yeah. I'd probably only use Samsung here. 8 terabyte M.2. Nasty work. How much is this so far? Oh, $331. Not bad, not bad. Dilly, out, out! Sorry, she's just scratching a lot and I get allergies. Oh, I know. She looked over her shoulder. 1100? Okay. Alright, so we're at 1300. Video card. See below. Socket. Motherboard usage. This has never popped up before. Oh, because there's no CPU cooler. Hold on. I'll just add whatever one. Again? See details. Oh, no, it's updated. That's fine. Okay. I have an Anides. Hold on. The case. Anides. Anides. AI Crystal XL. AR3 full tower. I love this case so much. This thing's beast. So let me see. Video card. This is where we got the hang up. Let's do 3-way. G-Sync off. Let's just do that one. Asus. MSI. Nvidia. Oh yeah, I want to see the Nvidia first. Oh, okay, hold on. 2. Ooh. So if I get 2 of these, is that even still a thing? Hmm. GB. Okay. I don't want to dox myself. I know it's gonna pop up. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Currently sold out. Yeah, there's no way of finding that thing. Okay. There we go. Hold on. $8 GB, so I get 3 of those. That's 24. Or if I just find like another 12 GB GPU, get 2 of those, that's the same. So it's probably cheaper if I find a 12 GB one. That's maybe. think we just looked that up. Ooh. This thing looks like it overheats. 170. There's probably something wrong with it. 149. 280. Okay. Let's do 2 of the... Oh, no, no. Buy now. Oh my god. That would have sucked. Add to parts list. Add another. Add. Alright. So that's 24. And then the power supply, I think I have an EVGA. Yeah, EVGA T2. Alright, T2. 16? Yeah, 1600. BIOS, that's updated. Ugh. Golly. Monitor, not worried about that. Storage. So I would need to convert these. To 32 gigabytes. Alright. So let's see. $128 gigabytes. Let's see. G skills chart at the Z, 128 gigabytes, 8 16 gigabyte ones. Yeah, so it would be this. Ew. Alright. So basically, if I want to have a slightly better PC, I would upgrade the GPUs and the RAM. Catch you on the next one. Okay, bye! Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out. It's been 3 hours. Yeah. Okay. Ah ha ha ha. Well, that's good. I think I want to play Honkai. It's been 3 hours already. I'll come back later tonight and stream. Or it's already 5 p.m. Okay, so 8 p.m. I'll come back.